The timeline for winter weather. Radar is clear. It's sunny and 24 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Winter weather will return this week to the Hoosier State.
We're looking at 3 rounds of potential wintry precipitation. The first one arriving late Monday night to Tuesday morning and continuing through most of the day Tuesday.
Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service says the real concern will be round number 2, which is due to arrive late Wednesday night. He says snow and or freezing rain may be in the mix, but it's still too early to tell for sure. Hoosiers need property tax relief, while local governments need to maintain funds to provide basic services. A solution may be a program called Trust Indiana.
If they're able to raise revenue, make a better return, then that means they have less taxes that they need to put on to the citizens.
State Treasurer Daniel Elliott tells Indy Politics that it's a commercial paper portfolio that's offered by the state for local governments to invest money. It allows them to get a quick and significant rate of return and raise money to pay for what they need. A woman killed in a car crash this morning on the southeast side. IMPD says the woman died when the SUV she was in flipped over. They aren't sure yet what led to the wreck. Theft is the charge against a police officer in Indianapolis. John Herrick reports.
IMPD said Saturday that they were called to a target on Southport Road in Indianapolis on February 1st, and they were told Sergeant Sarah Lampkin was stealing things and trying not to pay for them. Lampkin's been placed on paid leave. She's been with IMPD for 17 years. Reporting on Southport Road, John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Gas prices holding steady at $2.93 a gallon across the state today, says GasBuddy.com. IU men's basketball coach Mike Woodson does in fact plan to retire at the end of this season. Still, Woodson says the emotions have been unique this past week.
Well, it's been emotional, but we still got 7 more games to play.
One of those is Michigan State and East Lansing tomorrow. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
All right. Looking at this, Kurt, on southbound 65 northwest side, it is a crash on the right shoulder at West 71st Street. So we do have a slowdown going through there, just a 2-minute delay at the moment, but that could worsen as crash cleanup continues. Traffic sponsored by the Tile Shop. Pros get more at the Tile Shop. More selection like new wood and vinyl flooring options for every budget, more perks and more service like free curbside pickup. Get starting more at the Tile Shop. Visit your local showroom today. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
There she is, founder and CEO. High five.
Yeah. Dave can't stop celebrating with every business owner in town.
All right, Baker Man, high five.
He's sharing the excitement of big savings with the Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee.
Oh, up top, bike shop.
Yeah. It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
Quick, high five.
5 years of advanced security.
5 years.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Yeah, law partners. Chamberlain, Messelthorpe, Dubois.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Switch today and get the 5-year price lock guarantee.
5 years!
It's back, but only for a limited time.
Woo!
Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Can't forget you, voiceover guy.
Ah, thanks, Dave.
High five.
Ends 3/9/25. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Mostly sunny skies to start off today. Clouds will then increase. High temperatures into the upper 30s tonight. Cloudy skies, low temperatures in the upper 20s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
A clear radar, sunny and 24 degrees downtown. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall. When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money. And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Monday, February 10th. It's 6 minutes after 9 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So is your productivity down this morning? It's the day after the Super Bowl. Word is that everyone's productivity is down today.
Didn't the Democrats in Indiana try to pass a law that said it's a holiday after the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Wasn't that their big legislative push this year from the Indiana Democrats?
Yes, they did try to do that because your productivity is down.
You're such a slob and a boob, and you can't be trusted to handle yourself with any sort of decency or self-control. We're going to make the day after Super Bowl a holiday so you don't have to come to work.
Now,
that's the most Democrat bill ever, isn't it?
Well, be honest. If you didn't have to be here, would you choose to take the day off? You'd still be here.
Haven't we been over this numerous times before, Casey? The amount of people that I make miserable just showing up to work here every day,
right?
And the amount of
you take pleasure out of that.
Yeah, this is club sport for me.
Even when they try and keep you away, you still come in.
No. I'm the wrong person to ask that to.
So let's talk about the Super Bowl. The outcome. The Eagles defeated the Chiefs.
Too big to rig, Casey.
40-22.
It was too big. The refs started right on the opening drive, but ultimately it was too big to rig.
Well, it almost had to be, right? Or you'd be questioning everything.
Well, I mean, look, right out of the gate. I mean, and again, it's another thing where the guys in the booth are like, that's a bad call. Who knows more about football than Tom Brady? Hello?
Yeah.
Anyone? Would anybody like to say, oh, yeah, he doesn't know what's going on? Right out of the gate, oh, there's a flag. They tried. They tried their best. The Eagles were just too good, though, and Hammer has to buy me that ticket to the Hammer and Nigel bowling event.
Yeah. So Jalen Hurts won the MVP, and Patrick Mahomes, I don't know if you caught the press conference after the Super Bowl. It was 10, 15 minutes. He answered every single question, and he didn't try to shift blame or anything. He said, it was me. This is all on me.
Yeah, old Mahomes Auto. He didn't have a great game.
No, he did not.
Look, what a win for humanity. What a nice day for society as a collective. Wasn't the best part when Taylor Swift got booed?
Yeah.
And Trump got cheered?
Well, that just tells you where the culture is right now.
I'm sure you saw. What's the little meme of the puppet that's like looking forward?
Yeah.
It's looking sideways and then forward. Like you'll see somebody will go, well, nobody would ever do that. And then it's a very famous meme. I'm sure you've seen it on the internet. And then it was Taylor Swift matching the puppet.
Doing the same thing, the side eye.
And she looked genuinely, yes, side eye, thank you. She was looked genuinely rattled.
What's going on?
That she was getting booed at the Super Bowl.
When is the breakup song coming?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Is the countdown on?
He's now of no use to her, right?
So you're at the Super Bowl. You're Donald Trump. What are you thinking? I want to get rid of the penny. Because that came out while he was there.
Yes, yeah, they did. Now, that's been a push for a while. That's not going to go over real well with his libertarians who voted for him. How would that even work if you, quote unquote, got rid of the penny? Like, what am I supposed to do if I owe someone 1 penny? What if I am owed 3 pennies back in change? I know Trump is rich, but I'm not rich enough to just go, yeah, you just keep those 3 cents. How would that even work?
Well, it's not that he wants to get rid of the penny. He wants to quit minting the penny because for every 1 cent, it costs 2 cents to make.
Okay, but I'll restate the question.
Yeah, how do you make change?
Right, once these coins go out of circulation, how would somebody make change?
Yeah, I don't know. You're gonna round up or round down.
Sometimes I think Trump does things that in his world aren't that big of a deal, and then there's no, like, when was the last time Trump ever used a penny? Do we think in Trump's life he's ever actually used a penny? Has Trump ever been like, oh yeah, let me get you exact change?
The penny for him is like the dollar bill for us, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I did think obviously it was a lackluster game unless you were somebody who just hates the Chiefs like I do. It was a lackluster game. I am not a commercials person. I have a theory on the commercials because used to be when I was a kid and the Super Bowl was on the commercials, oh man, it's such a big deal to see celebrities because you don't see them all that often other than their newest movie or whatever. But with social media, we see these people so often now. Is it really that big a deal to see them in a commercial that you're going to see all the time anyway?
Right.
Is it really that big a deal anymore?
Yeah, I was not overly impressed with any of the commercials either. I did like the rocket commercial. That's the one where they had everybody singing Country Roads, and then they went live to the stadium, and the stadium was singing it as well. It was very pro-family.
You want a hot take?
Yeah.
I don't think I paid attention to a single commercial.
Did you see all the Elon Musk commercials?
No, I know that's what I'm saying. I mean, I may have.
That's because they weren't there.
Oh, they didn't exist. They weren't a thing. That was all made up. I thought he was supposed to. I thought there was some Starlink commercial. Am I wrong?
There was a Starlink commercial.
Well, that's an Elon Musk commercial.
Correct, but there was all these rumors that he bought 4 commercials and he was going to tell everybody what USAID was spending their money on, and then there was nothing.
There was nothing.
Nothing.
So I mean, I watched the football game for the football. I was also told, now I had it muted down in my house. The halftime show was horrible. I mean, how could it be anything but horrible? But even by standards of people who enjoy that guy, whoever he was, that it was horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, is that right? You got a young Cav. You're hip to these people.
Kendrick Lamar.
Thank you.
I used to listen to him, but not so much these days.
And I was told it was not good, even by the people that are fans of his.
Part.
Oh yeah, perfect.
The shocking thing is that New Orleans is so rich with their music and jazz culture. They could have brought more of that in there. The one thing that I will say about the Kendrick Lamar halftime show, I'm not a huge fan of his music. That's not my genre. Whatever. Some people like it. And the halftime show historically has always tried to attract a younger demographic.
No, it hasn't.
Yes, it has.
Casey,
They've been doing that for a while.
No, stop, Casey. When Janet Jackson showed her boob, who did they go up to afterwards? It was Motown. It was the Rolling Stones. It was Tom Petty. It was Bruce Springsteen. It was Prince. And those had the most interest because the most amount of people could actually watch the show.
The most mainstream.
Now, most of the people from that era now are dead, so you're running out of people you could actually use that you could fit in on that. But no, I mean, okay, so we're all right. I'll go ahead and say it. Did you observe? I had the volume down, but my eyes were working.
Sure.
Did you observe a single white person as a part of that halftime show?
No. But I did notice that they were red, white, and blue.
Okay, but let's go back. Can you imagine if the roles were reversed and you in our modern America had a halftime show with not a single black person involved in it?
People would be screaming racism.
Oh, it'd be outrage.
Yeah.
It would be outrage. Okay, I just want to make sure because I was watching it or had it on. I thought, well, maybe I missed some part of whatever, but there was no observed. You did not observe a single white person either.
No.
Okay.
But I wasn't intently focused on it.
So there could have been
either.
one somewhere.
There could have been.
But this is the discussion
I
we're
also
having.
noticed that there weren't any BLM, flags or signs or anything like that flying around.
Well, that's fine, but they're not doing that by choice. They're doing that by force because the public has moved on from this. Like the NFL is not meeting the public where they're at anymore, which is part of the reason you've seen a decline in viewership. Now, it will be interesting to see what the total viewers is for this game because of the hatred for the two teams. But I also just think the Super Bowl isn't all that interesting anymore. I don't think celebrities move the needle anymore. I don't think it's a big deal to see a celebrity like it used to be because we know too much about these people, and quite frankly, what complete dirtballs many of them are.
Were you moved by Brad Pitt in the beginning and his big patriotic speech? I'm gonna guess no, based on what you're saying.
Casey, just full disclosure, I did not pay attention to anything other than the football itself.
The actual game.
I'm a 19-month-old, so even paying attention to the football was oftentimes a struggle until she fell asleep. But I mean, I wouldn't anyway. Like, okay, there's Tom Cruise. Because he was in a commercial, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was in something, right?
Yeah.
I saw him. So? Okay.
Everybody was saying, it was great. It was very patriotic, and we're back. And I thought the whole delivery from Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise that you mentioned was very forced and very hypocritical because you know who these Hollywood stars are.
Yep.
And now this is the new message, and they're actors delivering their lines.
They're adjusting on the fly because there is no, and thank you, Casey, you hit the nail on the head. These people have no core conviction. They will twist, they will blow in the wind to whatever side they need to be on. Look at Bud Light. Now, I did see a Bud Light commercial where, what's the guy with the tattoos? What's the
Post Malone?
Is it Post Malone?
Yeah, with the face tats.
I get him and Jelly Roll confused all the time. Post Malone and Shane Gillis are doing some sort of, we had talked about this last week.
Men of the cul-de-sac.
Right. We have gone from just a couple of years ago, it's Dylan Mulvaney because it's all trans all the time, to these two redneck hillbilly whatevers. well, how could this be the same product? The answer is Bud Light had rotten, awful people, woke people, running their corporation, and they let them get away with this out of fear and not because they really believed it. And the moment they could get away from it, they actually did. But as a patron, I'm still looking at it going, I know what your company is now. I know how your company's actually run. I know the core of your company. I just think the Super Bowl is just very disinteresting now. I don't think it has near the luster or the lure. And I mean, when even people who are fans of the halftime show artists are like, yeah, that was awful. Well, why would I? I'm not a fan of that. Why would I take any time to be interested in it? I think it's a big dud. We'll see what the ratings actually were. You're more into the culture side of things though than I am. So were there any ads you were enamored with?
Like I said, I thought my favorite one was the rocket one when they had everybody in the stadium singing along because that was kind of a new twist that we hadn't seen. The Harrison Ford Jeep commercial. I'm a Jeep driver. I liked that the Jeep product was displayed during the Super Bowl. However, I thought the entire commercial came off very heavy-handed. Yeah. And it was, again, like I said, it felt forced.
Now, the go back to the halftime show. The league partnered with Jay-Z. Is that right? That's who it was. Whatever, something rock entertainment. I know we got to get to a break here. But now he's under scrutiny with Diddy, right?
Is he?
Is it Jay-Z or who's, is that the...
Yeah, you're right.
Is that right?
You're right.
I'm not trying to speak out of turn here. He's the one who, I believe, was friends with Diddy. And these halftime shows haven't exactly been world beaters since he's been in charge. And it's clearly they have alienated a huge portion of the potential audience for the halftime show. Are they now going to move away from that and try to get a consensus on a show that will universally appeal to more? I can't tell you the last time I watched a halftime show. Katy Perry might have been the last time I watched.
That was a decade ago.
I mean,
Left Shark, that was 10 years ago.
Because Madonna did it here, right? Madonna was the halftime show when the Super Bowl was here. So that would have been after. That was after. That might have been the last time I actually watched a halftime show.
The one thing that I did notice about the halftime show is that they were all clothed. There wasn't a wardrobe malfunction or anything like that.
What are we doing next?
We've got to talk about Trump's approval ratings and his interview with Bret Baier, which aired before the Super Bowl. That's coming up on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
The commander-in-chief no longer needs a diaper change. The commander-in-chief doesn't have to watch Matlock with pudding smeared on his face. We've got a commander-in-chief that no longer falls up and down the stairs multiple times. I'm excited for that. If anything else.
Let's see how long it takes before Pencil Neck Adam Schiff to file some impeachment charge.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Are you having a hard time making it through a day of work without foot pain or discomfort with things that used to be simple like walking the dog? You may be thinking there's no way that something as simple as the Good Feet store can help you, like Bill.
My feet would just ache, my back would hurt, my ankles, everything just hurt. And I'd seen the commercial several times before I finally said, I'm going to do this. And I'll be darned if it didn't work. I feel a million times better than I ever did.
Another satisfied customer of the Good Feet store is Wendy.
Since wearing my arch supports from the Good Feet store, my back pain is gone and my feet don't hurt as much. And as I look into the future without pain, I see myself being even more adventurous, joyful, and full of possibility.
Come to the Good Feet store today for your free fitting and test walk. We're located in Castleton by the Fashion Mall or in Greenwood just off the 65. Or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. Good Feet arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Discover your options at the Good Feet store.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study.
Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 765-545-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us. LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
Life is busy enough without plumbing problems. That's why you need an expert to fix it right the first time. Plumbing may not be pretty, but we're pretty darn good at it. And we'll always give you honest advice at a fair price. That's the LD Smith Plumbing Promise. Call today for $50 off any plumbing repair, big or small.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
In almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it is a one and done. Because we don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
AdventNows.com.
A new CBS YouGov poll came out, and it says that Donald Trump has very positive approval ratings.
What?
Yes.
Wait. Now, I was told people are outraged over his racist immigration policies, that people are up in arms, that DEI in Serbia is not being fully funded now. What?
Yeah.
I've been told that, he is cratering by the media at large. And now what are you telling me?
I'm telling you that according to this new CBS poll, he's doing all right. 53% say that they like the way he's handling his job. 58% described him as effective. And 55% said that he was very competent.
So this is an example of the media spinning you a bunch of bullcrap and trying to manipulate how you view things rather than the reality, which is people voted for this. This largely mirrors the direction of the election. And this is what people voted for, especially in the states that matter. People voted for Donald Trump to clean up these certain areas of society, whether it is our immigration policy, which was outlandish under Biden, or whether it is all the money that we're spending that we don't have anymore, and to get that and inflation under control. These are things he was elected to do. I got into it with somebody over the weekend on social media, and I finally just said over this USAID stuff, and they were like, well, you people better be careful because some of these areas, like China, is going to move in and they're going to really buy the favor of these. And I said, wait a second. Your theory is that China, who is even more broke than us and in a recession, is going to be swooping in to spend $1.5 million to promote DEI in Serbia? Maybe you're not totally aware of how the communists view equity and inclusion. It's outlandish. And so many of these people who are up in arms over the USAID stuff, they didn't even know that existed until 2 weeks ago.
Right, exactly.
They didn't even know it was a thing.
Until it was brought to your attention.
Including, let's point out, maybe many of the Republicans who are now bad-mouthing all of these things that they voted for. These members of Congress who are hooting and hollering. I saw Jim Baird, who's unfortunately my congressman out there in the 4th District, was upset about something that was being funded. Buddy, you've been voting to fund the government. How many times have we seen your name on these spending bills that you were voting for? So either these people didn't know what they were voting for, which is a strong possibility. They're that genuinely that stupid and uninformed. Or now this is just some pathetic attempt to CYA because they got caught with all the trash that our money is actually going to.
So according to this poll, Donald Trump is clearly winning on one area, and that is 70% say that he is keeping his word from the campaign. However, I'm going to remind everybody of one thing, because that's what we do here. We play it straight. Rob?
Yes.
Didn't he say that he would end things in Ukraine on day one?
Well, he did, and they're not over.
Correct. J.D. Vance is on his way to meet with Zelensky as well.
And so let's come back to that for a second. And you and I have talked about this before.
He's done a lot of things, Trump has.
Well, Trump says the impossible sometimes, and I guess that's part of the charm or the chuckle or whatever. Clearly, he was not going to be able to do all the things on day one. We did this one time. We went through a timeline of how fast he would have to act on everything, and unless he's the Flash, it wasn't going to happen. Now, in terms of, though, him keeping his word on the core stuff, I don't care if the thing ends in Ukraine. I just want to stop sending him money.
Right.
Fine, in, don't in, whatever. I'm just done with the money laundering operation over there taking place. That's my primary concern, and thus far he's followed through on that. But whether it's immigration or starting to go through the federal government and finding all of these things and pointing all of these things out, he is checking those boxes so far.
So his best approval ratings, they came from Generation X and also Generation Z.
That's the one after me, right?
Correct.
What are you? What is that? Is that or you're a millennial, right?
They're people who are currently 18 to 29 years old.
Oh. Well,
I think
I thought you were a millennial.
I was always told I was a millennial.
Yeah, get in here this little soup with us. We're just a fun little barrel.
Millennials are still approving of Donald Trump's performance, but it's only by +4. Gen X is +10 and Gen Z +12.
Yeah, but when was the last time any sort of young people gave any positive reviews to Republicans?
That would be Gen X when they were young, when they grew up with Ronald Reagan.
See, exactly. That's my point. So, sure, this is a great example to politicians. Do what you ran on. Ignore the media. If you just do the things you promised and let people know you're doing them, the results will speak for themselves.
Same poll, and this one is regarding Congress. Only 19% of Americans approve of Congress handling their job. So again, it's Donald Trump leading the way and everybody else falling behind.
It mirrors the election and what we talked about, where Trump was winning these swing states and a lot of these down ballot Republicans did not. And why is that, Casey? Because the Republicans
our ass.
Thank you very much. Yes, the Republicans are ass. Thank you. Yes. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, Casey, we've been neglecting our audience here, and what are the 3 steps when you make a mistake?
Oh, you admit the mistake, you apologize, take corrective action.
Okay, so we've been neglecting our audience. We've been so focused on the property tax, and our hearts are in the right place, but we've been so focused on the. So what are the 3 steps?
You just admitted the mistake.
Yeah.
Apologize.
I'm apologizing. I'm sorry. We've been neglecting our audience. We care so much about your home and you being able to stay in your home that we've been neglecting.
The focus.
A lot of the other trash that the General Assembly's been attempting to cram down your throat.
It's a heartfelt apology.
Today on the program, we're going to talk about some of the other just complete garbage that is making its way through the General Assembly. And when we come back, this is a big one. Going to affect a lot of counties if this thing goes through. The state is trying to gut local government's ability to stop these green energy projects, solar, wind, carbon, all of these things. They're mad that they're trying to line up these big companies, corporations coming in, and these local governments are going, not in our community. We'll talk about it with a White County commissioner. White County's been at the forefront of trying to block these green projects. We'll talk about that coming up next.
All right. Corrective action on the way from 93 WIBC.
You can trust your flush to us. Howald Plumbers are the best in the business. Water heaters, leaky faucets or toilets, sump pumps, drain lines. Howald Plumbers keep water flowing. Howald Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing, where coming home never felt so good.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
More tariffs. It's 26 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. President Trump says he will announce new 25% steel and aluminum import tariffs today. That's what he told reporters while speaking on Air Force One yesterday. It remains unclear if the steel and aluminum tariffs will be in addition to ones that have been placed on countries like China. The Department of Government Efficiency is investigating FEMA.
DOGE effort continues. Tens of millions of dollars at a time. The latest from Elon Musk says The Doge team just discovered that FEMA sent $59 million to luxury hotels in New York City to house illegal migrants. Sending this money violated the law and is in gross insubordination to the president's executive order. That money is meant for American disaster relief and instead is being spent on high-end hotels for illegals.
Fox's Peter Ducey. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Stock futures are rising to the start of the week, of course, as traders navigate the latest U.S. tariffs threat. The Dow was up 260 to 44,681. The NASDAQ up 170 to 21,761. And the S&P 500 is up 31 to 6,081. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, I'm Charlie Comer from Comer & Cross Premium Garage Floor Coatings. If your garage floor looks bad with stains, cracks, and pits, it makes your entire garage look bad. And a bad epoxy job or chipping paint makes your garage or basement look worse. With one quick call to 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, I can save you $1,000 on a new Comer & Cross garage floor or basement floor during our winter sale. A Comer & Cross concrete floor coating is the gold standard. Guaranteed. A Comer & Cross garage floor won't chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. What's the Comer & Cross difference? We make it so easy. We move your stuff out for you. We fix the cracks and pits perfectly. And one day, you will love your gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor or basement floor just in time for spring. Call us right now for $1,000 in savings during our winter sale. Operators are standing by now at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to COMERcross.com.
Discussing end-of-life matters can be uncomfortable, but it's also necessary to ensure that loved ones' wishes are well known ahead of time. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. Up next, I'll share suggestions to help ease anxiety surrounding the talk.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Direct, open, and honest conversation is the best way to discuss end-of-life wishes. Knowing your loved one's preferred treatments and desired arrangements will ready everyone for when the time comes. Also helpful, creating a will or trust to ensure assets are distributed accordingly. And consider an end-of-life doula to assist your family during the process. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Whether you're preparing for retirement, navigating a life transition, or simply wondering if you're on the right path, Howard Bailey Financial is here to help. Together, we'll work on a personalized plan designed to bring greater clarity to your goals and help you approach decisions with confidence. It's not just about numbers, it's about the life you want to lead and the legacy you want to leave behind. With over 20 years of experience, Howard Bailey Financial has been dedicated to guiding individuals as they work toward taking control of their financial future and finding peace of mind. Text PATH to 888-262-1104 to download a free retirement toolkit and start planning for the retirement you've dreamed of. Howard Bailey Financial, helping you turn hope into a plan and dreams into reality. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
of been slacking with our audience.
You think so? I think we've been spending a lot of time talking about property tax reform.
Well, that's...
I don't think they think that's slacking.
No, but there's so much crap going on at the General Assembly. And obviously property taxes are front and center for everybody, and we spend a lot of time on that. It is the Kendall and Casey show, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm Rob Casey's here. But there are so many other bills.
Yeah.
There are so many shenanigans going on at the General Assembly.
Do you think we've had tunnel vision?
Well, we can't.
We've been too focused?
You can't keep track of all of them.
Yeah, this is true. There's a lot.
Simply an impossibility. But we're going to try.
Okay.
And some people have been sending emails and saying, look, this bill's going on over here, and this is going on over there, and maybe we should expand our horizons to try to talk about some of the other egregious behavior that's going on.
Well, there's so much to choose from, I guess.
So we're going to get to a couple of those today to keep you abreast of what's going on with the General Assembly. And this is actually a pretty big bill that would affect many, many counties in the state of Indiana. It's House Bill 1628, and you may have seen this, Casey. There's been a huge push over the past, decade and a half to litter our beautiful farmland and fruited plain with as many of these wind turbines or solar farms or all of these various energy-related matters, shall we say.
You know, years ago, I was hired by the city of Fowler to actually do their website, and a big prominent feature was all of the windmills.
The city of Fowler. Was this like Windows 95 that you were doing the website for them on?
Well, it took some registering at GoDaddy.
All right. So this bill would dramatically take away or impact local government's ability to put a stop to a lot of these very unpopular energy-related developments that are going on in these communities. And here to talk with us about this bill, House Bill 1625, the damage it would do, is Caleb Pass. Caleb is a commissioner in White County. That's northwest Indiana. Caleb joins us now. Caleb, hello.
Good morning.
All right, so tell us a little bit about this bill. Obviously, White County is a pretty rural county, a lot of farmland. We've got some friends up there. Kind of tell us about this bill and how it would impact counties like White County.
Well, it would put us in a position where we have people in Indianapolis that don't really have a good feel for what might be the best fit for our county here locally, trying to tell us what they think will and will not fit in our landscape. White County, as you probably well know, has been on the forefront of the renewable energy movement for many, many years. I think we have wind farms that are close to 15 years old now. And quite frankly, we've done enough here. And I just don't feel like taking away the home rule, local control on the permitting, siting, and the whole process of the installation of these green energy initiatives is the right thing to do.
You know, Caleb, obviously you're in White County, but I've heard about this bill and people saying, hey, can you please address this bill? Again, it's House Bill 1628 from people in Boone County. I've heard about it from people in Hendricks County. I've heard about this from people all over the state. So it is interesting how, and you can expand on this a little bit, how there seems to be uniformed opposition from everybody, but kind of the special interest that would make money off of this.
Yes, absolutely. We frequently communicate with commissioners and council people in our surrounding counties, Pulaski, Newton, Jasper, and constantly share our concerns and try to share ideas on what we can do to kind of take a stand on these developers and companies kind of coming in and preying on our counties. A lot of these leads start at the state level, and we get in a situation where we have the Indiana State Economic Development Board maybe calling our local directors.
Real quick, Caleb. The IEDC, we've heard of them before. They seem to make everyone relatively unhappy that's in any sort of rural placement across this state.
Yeah, the direction that they're moving and the direction that we here locally, especially in these small rural communities, are wanting to stay or move are not correlating at all.
Caleb Pass is our guest. He is a county commissioner in White County. We're talking about House Bill 1628. It would essentially, Casey, gut local government's ability to dictate how a lot of these major energy projects, whether it's solar or wind or carbon capture, are kind of placed in these large tracts of farmland across the state of Indiana.
Yeah, Caleb, I'm curious. So currently you're saying that the local authorities are the ones that are requiring permits and zoning approvals, but with this bill, that would be turned over to a higher level?
Well, that's my understanding. I've read through this bill several times, and in our situation, particularly here in White County, where we've worked very hard in the last year to come up with protective ordinances to manage these renewable initiatives, would be just a total waste. Our Area Plan Commission Board worked very hard to try to research and talk to folks in other counties and nationally of how we could protect ourselves. And if this bill was to pass, all our local protections would be gone. We'd be in a situation where big government's coming in here and kind of telling us what they think is the best thing for us. And I think history will tell us that that's just never been a good thing.
So Caleb, to kind of really put a over the sky view on this for the people who are just tuning in. Again, Caleb Hass is our guest. He's a White County commissioner. We're talking about House Bill 1628, which would really gut local government's ability to dictate major energy projects in their community, these green projects, wind, solar, carbon capture, battery energy storage. The state is basically saying, well, we want these projects. Local governments and these communities where we want to put them, we're kind of setting these things up. They're not playing ball because they're against them. So since we can't get an agreement because these communities think they're bad for the community, we're just going to take away their ability to stop it. Is that right?
That's exactly right.
See, I was in government, Casey.
Yeah.
I know to speak the language. Yeah. So what can people do? Because is this bill getting a hearing tomorrow? Is that right?
Yeah, I know it's been tabled twice and moved from committee to committee, and a lot of our representation as county commissioners across the state have had their folks at the State House expressing their concerns against this bill. And I would encourage everyone to reach out to their legislators and express their concern about this. This is just possibly the tip of the iceberg. When you start erasing local jurisdiction and local control over developments, pipelines, anything generating water, energy, gas, I think that puts us in a very precarious position at the county level across the state of Indiana.
Yeah, Craig Snow is the bill's author. So, all right, well, we wanted to get everybody up to date on this. I think this is a big bill. We've heard about this from a lot of people. Again, 1628 is the number. If you want to call your legislators, let them know you're against this. I'm on board with you guys, Caleb. I think this is a really bad bill. These projects don't really seem to work out for anybody but kind of maybe the state and the developer. And I think the local governments should always be able to say, no, you can't do this in our backyard. So, Caleb, man, thanks for your time. Keep up the good fight, and let us know if we could be help with this. Any help with this going forward.
I appreciate it very much. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Back at it on the Hammer and Nigel show today. Guy Relford will join us in studio for Monday Gun Day. We got Jeff Foxworthy tickets to give away. We're going to have a good time. 93 WIBC.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are going to need a bigger cake.
Now through March 23rd, get Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract when you add an unlimited mobile line. Plus, get free Wi-Fi equipment included for 2 years. Switch today and join the network that delivers gig speed to the most homes. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless plan auto-pay start bank account. Taxes and fees extra. $40 internet discount applied to mobile bill. After 12 months, internet rate increases to $65. After 24 months, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. Reduce mobile speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds and actual internet speeds vary.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay. Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or Avastin-capted Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here with an amazing offer for my friends at Hope Plumbing. For the month of February, install a tankless water heater and get $1,000 off. That's right, get $1,000 off any tankless water heater. So if taking endless hot showers, cutting down on your gas bill, and saving space in your home is on your to-do list, call my friends at Hope Plumbing and get your tankless water heater installed today. Visit them online at hopeplumbing.com.
Cold weather brings hot savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Select 2024 Lincoln Navigators now $12,000 off and get 0% for 72 months. How about an all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus now $6,000 off with rates starting at 4.9% for 60 months. So get in on those hot savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Lincoln Navigator MSRP 104,825. Lincoln Nautilus MSRP 61,695. Offers good through February 28, 2025. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Let's talk about getting back to your best. Lack energy, muscle mass, feel moody, or have low libido? It could be signs of low testosterone. Know your T levels. Get tested. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer. The true experts are at Low T Center, and everyone's different. Don't settle for a standard dosage TRT program.
Get personalized treatment at Low T Center. For current patients, Low T Center offers a $150 referral credit when you refer a new patient. LowTCenter.com. Book that appointment today. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Playboy had a Super Bowl party. Yeah, Playboy's Super Bowl party is back. They also have a new playmate. Her name is Julia Nation.
That's not her real name.
Of course not.
There's no way her actual name is Julia Nation.
Probably not. She wore a $10 million diamond bunny costume.
Well, nothing like being in touch with your fellow man.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, did you see Brady supposedly was wearing a $600,000 watch during the Super Bowl?
I did see that. What did you think about what Travis Kelce was wearing before the game, or Patrick Mahomes? He looked like throwback 70s.
Spell this woman's name for me, because I'm not getting anything online. I'm trying to see what her actual name is.
Gillian. Jillian.
Jillian.
Yeah. Jillian Nation.
Jillian Nation. Hey, by the way, just to play a game with me here. When I type Jillian into Google, which celebrity do you think is the first name that comes up when I type Jillian in?
Isn't there an Anderson?
Yeah, from the X-Files. Mm-hmm. Very well done.
Yeah.
Jillian Nation, N-A-T-I-O-N.
N-A-T-I-O-N.
Okay, here we go. So this is her. I'm trying to figure out what her real name. She doesn't even have a Wikipedia here, it doesn't look like. How could they're this little on this?
You can learn everything about her in the new Playboy magazine.
I don't care that much.
Mm-hmm.
Who's buying a Playboy in 2025?
Well, isn't that interesting? Because it is hitting newsstands today, actually. You know, back in 2020, they quit supplying the Playboy magazine.
Was it 2020 they stopped? Well, they stopped.
They suspended
the print edition.
Yeah, after 66 years. But today, Playboy magazine is going to be available again.
But how? Like, okay, let's work through this logistically, right?
Okay.
So, a huge part of the reason that, and if you have young ones, you might want to cover their ears for this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But a huge reason Playboy went away was pornography was readily available at a cost of $0
on the
internet. And quite frankly, the relatively tame, mundane way in which Playboy presented their product just didn't drive the needle in the modern era of the type of pornography people desire to consume.
Correct.
That was 5 years ago. I'm sure it hasn't gotten any better.
Right.
It's like people are like, let's go back to the tame stuff.
Become even more polarized.
So who's buying? It's an actual physical magazine.
Correct. It will be on newsstands today, featuring Jillian Nation, who was announced as the 25 Playmate of the Year.
Who is she, though? I don't see any. Like, they're
She's 27 years old.
Where are you finding this?
It's on Playboy's website, actually.
That's not her. I'm just trying to find her real name. So she's
Mm-hmm.
27 years old.
She was raised in Montana on a farm.
Well, of course, yes, right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this? I always thought Playboy might do the way wrestling used to do, made up backstories to fit whatever.
Oh yeah, it's totally embellished.
For real?
I would think so.
Okay, thank you. I have no idea.
She has small-town charm and big city allure. Of
course.
That's
right.
what they say.
Sure. right. And Hulk Hogan was from Venice Beach, California. And Ultimate Warrior was from parts unknown. Right. How does this even happen? How are they going to make money off of this? Who would pay money in 2025 for a magazine?
Right.
I mean, I get that there's probably like hardcore Playboy collectors,
connoisseurs. Right?
I'm not
well,
trying
I know the most collectible Playboy is the one with Marilyn Monroe and also the one with Donald Trump on it.
So your husband, part of what he does for a side project now is he presses and presents magazines to a grading company.
Yep.
Who will
restoration.
Right. He will, and magazines, unlike sports cards, you can tinker with the magazine and it doesn't
get them graded and they become collectible.
And so I know he has done this for many customers. Playboys are one of the magazines that he will press and
No.
I thought he did.
No.
Oh, no, he doesn't. Never mind. Well,
that's one that we no.
So you had a conversation about this?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
And you said no dice.
I said no dice.
Well, it's not like he's thumbing through the magazine. It's mostly just the cover.
Uh-huh.
There's nothing wrong with the cover.
Well, with what he does, yes, he does have to thumb through the magazine.
Really?
And I just thought that's an image that I don't want to be associated with.
Oh, that's fascinating. Well, I'm not saying I blame you. I just didn't know that was the thing. I didn't know he had to thumb through the magazines. I thought primarily it was just he was pressing the covers for people. And then other than, a cigarette ad maybe on the back, there was nothing untoward on the cover.
No, I mean, and sometimes he'll find old receipts in magazines and, which has been kind of interesting.
What's the craziest thing Jim ever found in a magazine that he's told you about?
Receipts for old things.
Like what?
The magazine or things that they've purchased.
Discuss on this radio program?
No, and that's part of the reason that the Playboy is off limits. Like, I don't know. I find that kind of gross.
Well,
like, why would you want to be touching
that's
a
good
magazine
point.
that's in somebody else's hands?
I didn't even, especially that one. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about it that way. That's a good point.
I mean,
that's a brilliant point. I'm glad you thought of that. Would have never even dawned on me. Yeah, that's right. Because it's not like it's Sports Illustrated.
Right. I mean, that's
somebody could have been doing the unspeakable.
Yeah. I mean, to having to hold?
That's a good point. He might have had to use gloves.
Well, right. So, like, I don't, and plus, I don't. What, you're going to tell people you're associated with that as part of your business?
Well, somebody come back on this.
That's good. Not a good optic for
My
me.
point on all of this, though, is there are people who actually do collect these and get them pressed and framed and whatever. It's the thing that they collect. They're not even.
Sure.
It's not even because it's pornography or whatever. But other than those people, who's buying a magazine?
Yeah, I mean, for the articles, I don't know. Clearly, they think that they're going to be able to make money off of this again, or why would they go back to print?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not in the Playboy business model meetings, but certainly doesn't seem as though that would be something that would sell in mass.
The other question I have is this new Playmate, Jillian Nation. She wore a $10 million diamond bunny costume.
What?
How do you put that many diamonds on a bunny costume? Where?
All right.
Where do they go?
When we come back, there is a bill that is working its way through the General Assembly. We'll just tease it like this. It's Republican hypocrisy on full display.
Okay. That's on the way from 93 WIBC.
Jewelrygram, it's your friends at Shane Company here to remind you that Valentine's Day is Friday, February 14th. It's the most romantic day of the year to give and get fine jewelry. We have expertly crafted gifts for every type of sweetheart. For the one, we'll help you propose with the dream engagement ring. Come see our wide selection of hand-picked natural and lab-grown diamonds in all shapes and sizes. In stock and ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Or maybe you'll fall in love with the natural, colorful gemstone. At Chain Company, we're known for our sapphires in every color of the rainbow. We have options for every style and budget. Get creative and design a custom necklace with meaningful charms, including 14-karat gold letters, engravable hearts, and birthstones. Our mother-of-pearl heart-shaped collection makes a perfect gift that's ready to give. At Chain Company, love is always in the air with our unmatched free lifetime warranty, everyday competitive prices, and no-pressure shopping experience. Come see us in-store and at shaneco.com. Chain Company, your friend and jeweler.
Health gives you the ability to love more, feel more, be more. Health gives you the ability to live an extraordinary life. Because every day, no matter the challenges, is a chance to breathe, laugh until your belly aches, cry because you care so much, and experience everything that makes your life truly extraordinary. For 150 years, Franciscan Health has been there, watching extraordinary lives unfold. Love your extraordinary life.
Morton Building's annual Building Value Day sales event is here and now through the month of February. Morton buildings are built stronger, last longer, and look better. Whether you need a garage, farm shop, stall barn, or storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, now's the time to save on new buildings. Visit MortonBuildings.com to learn more and save on select new buildings that will stand the test of time. From Morton Buildings. Certain restrictions apply. See your local construction center for details.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
The Ford 70th Annual Indianapolis Boat Sport and Travel Show, February 14th through 16th and 19th through 23rd at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Celebrating 70 years of the great outdoors. Over 750,000 square feet of the latest boats, RVs, power sports, motorcycles, Tackletown USA, travel destinations, and much more. Don't miss the 27th Annual Indiana Deer, Turkey, and Waterfowl Expo during the final 3 days of the sports show. One ticket gets you into both shows. Visit IndySportShow.com, another Renfro production.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Coming up in 2 minutes, when some winter weather will get here, plus the property tax debate continues with a possible solution, and what this study from a college in Indy says about the flu. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
President Trump is readying new tariffs. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 25% on all steel and aluminum imports.
The president sees tariffs as an effective tool to counter what he sees as unfair trade practices. Countries that could take the largest hits include Canada and Mexico. They are among the largest sources of steel imports for the United States.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. Those countries could retaliate. So could the European Union. And China today imposed tariffs on some American goods after the president put a 10% tariff on Chinese imports last week. President Trump also told Fox's Brett Baer before going to the Super Bowl, he's committed to cutting waste and fraud and federal spending.
Look, I ran on this, and the people want me to find it. And I've had a great help with Elon Musk, who's been terrific.
Bottom line, you say you trust him.
Trust Elon? Oh, he's not gaining anything. In fact, I wonder how he can devote the time to it. He's so into it.
Though some judges have ruled to limit the reach of Musk and his new Department of Government Efficiency, the Democrats say is out of control. Here's something else from the president. Fox's Peter Ducey reports from the White House.
The plan is to save trillions 1 cent at a time. On Truth Social, for far too long, the United States has minted pennies, which literally cost us more than 2 cents. This is so wasteful. I have instructed my Secretary of the U.S. Treasury to stop producing new pennies.
There's a hearing in Boston today challenging the president's buyout offer for federal workers to resign. The deadline's tonight.
The judge will consider issuing a temporary restraining order that would block enforcement of the offer for as long as 2 weeks. So far, the offer has been taken by more than 65,000 federal workers.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. They'll have a parade in Philadelphia Friday to celebrate the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Quarterback Jalen Hurts was the MVP.
Couldn't be here without my teammates. You know, the effort, the determination everybody displayed to get to this point.
The Philadelphia Eagles blew out Kansas City 40-22, denying the Chiefs a record third straight Super Bowl championship. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Where you'll feel the impact. Radar is clear. It's 28 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Winter weather is on the way.
Now, that first one is looking like it'll impact southern portions of Indiana with the greatest amounts near like the Indiana-Kentucky border.
Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service talking about the first round of precipitation that will move in late tonight. He says it could be freezing rain and maybe some snow, both of which will be more significant with another round due to come in on Wednesday. A man shot on the east side overnight. It was along 16th Street at a gas station, say police. It was there where they found a man who had been shot. They took him to the hospital where he's now recovering. It's not clear if police are looking for a shooter. Property taxes. You say that you need them to go down, while local governments say they need them to keep you safe for one.
There's not a lot of fluff in our budget. Over 50% of our budget is in public safety.
Zionsville Mayor John Stair on Wish TV. Indiana's Treasurer Daniel Elliott says governments can lower property taxes and invest money in the Trust Indiana program. He says it's an investment portfolio so cities and towns can have cash while not having to raise property taxes. A woman killed in a crash and another woman arrested. Jake McDaniel reports.
Officers say 2 people were hit by a car with 4 people on US 40 in Hendricks County. They say Tiffany Poole, who was the driver of the car of 4 people, failed to yield and crashed into the other car. A female passenger who was crashed into was taken to a hospital, but she did not make it. Poole was taken to the hospital for a blood test. She was then taken to Hendricks County Jail facing charges of driving while under the influence. Blood results are pending now. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Indianapolis is in the top 20 most likely places for you to get sick with the flu in the U.S. That's according to a new study commissioned by Marian University in Indy. The number 1 most likely place for you to get the flu is Bakersfield, California, mostly due to low flu vaccination rates there. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
AAA not only is the best at helping you out with flat tires, roadside assistance, replacing my dead batteries at work, but they can also plan some amazing vacations. And with all this snow and ice, I'm ready for a trip to Universal Studios with the family in Florida. You know what I mean? No matter where you're headed, AAA can help you get the best price on your next vacation at the AAA Travel Expo, Saturday, February 22nd at the Ritz-Charles in Carmel.
It's free. You don't even have to be a AAA member to attend. Although members love additional benefits like 24/7, 365 roadside assistance. So save the date right now for the AAA Travel Expo 2025, Saturday, February 22nd at the Ritz-Charles in Carmel. Find your dream vacation at Indiana's favorite travel show. Bring a friend and enjoy the day. Get more information and pre-register for your chance to win a $500 AAA travel voucher at AAA.com/expo.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Casey, I hate to have to do this, especially at 10 in the morning. But
what's going on, Rob?
We've got to talk about some Republican hypocrisy in the General Assembly.
No.
And
really?
you know how I hate to call the Republicans out.
Oh, yeah.
They do just such a darn good job overall.
Do you really hate it? It seems like we spend some time doing that.
Well, we said at 9:30 when we had that bill on, to that 1628 bill where we were talking about this plan to gut, local control over these green energy projects. And we've been lacking a little. I mean, we've been so focused on the property tax bill that we've been slacking a little bit in terms of talking about some of these other important bills, interesting bills that are making their way through the General Assembly. And look, a lot of them can do a lot of damage, and they fly under the radar.
Well, you're talking about House Bill 1472.
There's so many. There's so many of them. You can't even
It's like the numbers keep going up. 1472, Annexation of Residential Development. Now, this affects me because I do shopping here.
Oh, in Plainfield.
Right.
Well, they want it to be Plainfield. And you're reading the bill and the people are like, what's going on? Now, the point of this bill for me, it's not even the project itself necessarily. It's the hypocrisy of the General Assembly. And these guys do this all the time where they will pass a law because, we've heard overwhelmingly from the public that this is good or this is bad and we must respond. But the reality is there are actually parts of the thing that they've made definitive statements on that aren't what they've said, and they know they know that, and they're just going along with whatever the public wants in the moment so they can pat themselves on the back and go, oh, look at what a bunch of great guys we were. And then...
So you're saying they lack conviction?
Well, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And then they create what they call carve-outs or exceptions, where when they want something, we've really screwed ourselves because we passed a law that said you can't do the thing.
Except for this.
But we want it here, and we need this thing to happen that we've already said was bad. So we'll try to slide a little carve-out under the radar and hope nobody notices. And, we are the hypocrisy patrol here on the Kendall and Casey show. And our next bill that you just mentioned, we talk about that. And this bill, as you said, is House Bill 1472. It deals with annexation.
Right.
Now, a couple of years ago, the General Assembly, maybe several years ago now, came out and said annexations where one community takes an unincorporated part of another community and they bring it into that community for economic development, for infrastructure upgrades, et cetera. People got mad about that. It was happening all over the state, and the General Assembly said, well, yes, you poor rural people. You are being totally taken advantage of by these cities and towns, and we can't have any of that. And so they passed a whole bunch of laws gutting annexation. But House Bill 1472 is an annexation bill, which would allow the town of Plainfield to annex into, I believe it's Liberty Township, the Clayton area. If you're thinking about the western part there of Hendricks County, if you're going down 40, because they want to redevelop the Deer Creek Golf Course and put a mega mansion community in and around the redeveloped Deer Creek Golf Course. So on one hand, annexation really bad, poor rural people being totally abused.
But on the other hand, McMansion's good?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's find out what's going on, because a lot of people are really upset out in the greater Clayton area. Nick Allen is our guest. He's he's actually the president of the Mill Creek Community School Corporation. He joins us now. Nick, hello.
Good morning.
Did we summarize that properly about what's going on with this House Bill 1472, that it would allow one community in the state, one specific community, the town of Plainfield, to be able to do a thing that the legislature previously said was very bad, which is move across township lines to annex this one specific area because they want the economic development?
That is correct. The hypocrisy I'll leave to you guys. The annexation part of it for Mill Creek Community Schools, which most people know as Cascade Schools, is what comes with the annexation. So what happens is when they annex this area, they've likely either promised or they will not deny it, if they give them, they incentivize it with a TIF district. If they put a residential TIF on this.
Okay, Nick, let me stop you real quick to explain this to people. So TIF, we talked about this before, tax incremental finance. So what that means is, and we talked about this, Carmel, our old pal, Spin and Sue Finkham, on how they've done their little dirty deeds in Carmel, like the taxpayer-funded hotel. They take an area and they rope it off essentially and say all the tax revenue, so whatever goes in this, whether it's mansions or it's commercial development or a golf course or whatever, all the tax revenue that gets collected in that area, it doesn't get passed through to all the entities. It stays in that one specific area. Is that correct, Nick?
That is correct, yes.
So you as a school system, then, you're going to get all this new stuff going in there, all these potential residents, but you might not see any of the money.
Well, we won't see any of the money until it sunsets or however long they create the TIF for. Look, we are the second lowest tax rate for school corporations in Hendricks County, and we are continuing to grow. And between the administration and our school board, I'm going into my second term, we have been able to stay tax rate neutral and continue to build schools, renovate, and do all those things, and we're really proud of that. Our school corporation only has a total of 1,500 students, and this is estimated to bring 1,000 students into our school corporation, which is great. But how do we pay for building buildings? How do we do that? Well, if they put a TIF district on it, the only way we do that is to raise that tax rate. That's it. That's how we get our money.
So this is the other side of this, right? Because several years ago, this has probably been 10 years ago now, they gutted tax increment finance laws across the state because, TIF is bad. TIF is stealing from the children. TIF is stealing from the schools. They exempted at the time was Indianapolis, got a bunch of exemptions in that. And now what you're saying, Nick, is potentially, once again, they're showing, we'll use the term hypocrisy here, 2 for 1. It's a 2 for Casey, because they're saying, you'd have to set up a TIF district to make this sort of thing work, right, Nick?
Yeah, and you can't have it both ways. You have to pay for it somehow. If you're going to jump across your lines and incorporate this area as an annexation, how do we take on the kids? How do we pay for it? How do we do those things? And you can't. It doesn't work both ways. So essentially, what you're doing is you're asking our taxpayers to cover the cost until that TIF sunsets. And that's really what this is about.
So what has been the local response? Because, look, I've heard from a ton of people about this bill that live in the greater Clayton area, and they are just up in arms about this. What do you kind of hear from people?
Well, the sense that we have that, we've talked to all the or as many stakeholders as we can, and we have been in contact with the town of Plainfield and some of the other people involved in this. And look, if you're going to get a development in your area or in your school corporation or in your community, this is a great development. It really is. It's a nice development. It's going to bring a lot of great things. The problem is that how do we pay for it? And that's the problem that everybody has. If they annex the area, what taxes are they taking for public safety and all of those things that come with that? How is that going to be addressed? And at the end of the day, a lot of this just ends up with, it's going to be higher taxes. If they would just leave the area alone, we can manage tax rate neutral and continue to build those buildings. The assessed evaluation of this development could be $1 billion. Our current assessed evaluation in our entire school corporation is $900 million. So this would double our assessed evaluation, which would allow us to borrow the money and stay tax rate neutral and keep up with building these buildings. But if you put the TIF on it, where does the money come from?
Yeah, so this is so again, I use the term hypocrisy because they're saying, one community in the state gets this special law. Everyone else, it's bad and you can't do this. But is it Sturwald? Is Sturwald the guy who wrote the bill? Is that right?
He's the author of it, yes.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Every conversation I think I've ever had with that guy, by the way, this is the Mensa member who wrote the criminal reform bill. So all these Lowit tax increases that have gone up over the past 10 years in your community for jails, et cetera, it's because Greg Sturwald dumped a bunch of low-level offenders that the state was taking care of. He didn't decriminalize things like marijuana use. He just threw them onto the locals and said, you guys figure out how to pay for it now. And every conversation I think I've ever had with this guy is he'll tell you how hard he's working. I've never seen somebody claim to work harder and accomplish less. And this seems like the perfect bill for Greg Sturwald to offer. So it's the hypocrisy of not only saying that, annexation's bad, and then the special annexation laws, of saying TIF's bad, and then special TIFs can be set up. Hey, Nick, I appreciate you guys because we rip public schools a lot of times for raising taxes and spending money irresponsibly. We want to give you guys credit because you're saying, don't do this. We don't want to raise taxes.
Yeah, we think that we can do it. I mean, we work really hard with our financial institutions to figure out. We have long-term planning. We've been doing that for the past few years to find out, okay, if our growth rate is this, what buildings do we need, and how do we keep that at 94 cents, which would be tax rate neutral for us. And if you put the TIF on it and you ask us to take on 1,000 students, we don't have a choice. We will have to raise it because we have to be able to put these kids somewhere.
Yeah, and
we're happy to have them, but at the end of the day, if you just allow us to take care of the tax money, we'll do it at tax rate neutral. But you can't expect us to take on 1,000 kids and not get anything out of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
and this
it's
is
not possible.
And to wrap this up, this is essentially a dream ability of the town of Plainfield to take a dump on everyone because they get this mega development. They can put it in a TIF and choke it off. It'll be in the town of Plainfield. So ultimately, when the TIF is released, all that money will flow back into the town of Plainfield, and the Plainfield school system doesn't have to educate any of these kids. Like, it is some dream special carve-out scenario done by Greg Sturwald.
Nick, I have a couple questions for you. Do you know who originated this idea, the annexation, and worked to lobby for Bill 1472? And also, you mentioned when the TIF would sunset. Any idea when that would be?
No, we've not been given any sort of idea. So when we ask the question, are you going to TIF this area, they won't give us an answer, which we're taking as, yes, they fully intend to.
That means they're doing it. Well, there's no way you could do that development without the infrastructure being in a tax increment, finance district. So, Nick, thanks for your time, man. We appreciate you, and thanks for being one of the school systems in the state that actually cares about taxpayers and the cost of educating kids. Man, we really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel here, and we are so fired up for our charity bowling event, Red, White, and Bowl, presented by Jack Daniels. Buy your tickets right now at the events page of WIBC.com. Friday, February 28th, 6 to 9 p.m. at Woodland.
It was such a blast last year. Tickets include a pizza buffet, 3 hours of bowling, free beers. We're going to have so much fun. Go to the WIBC events page at WIBC.com.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-210-8808. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-210-8808. 800-210-8808. 800-210-8808.
Want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct. Right now, Universal Windows Direct is in the middle of their Love Your Windows sales event. And at the heart of that is for every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free. No limit. Need 4 windows, you pay for 2. You need 20, you pay for 10. It's the perfect way to save big while upgrading your home. Oh, and that's not all. On top of that, Universal Windows Direct is offering no interest financing for 3 years. That's 36 months of easy payments with 0% interest. Already have a price from another company? Universal Windows Direct will beat it, so you know you're getting the best deal around. Now, some restrictions may apply. So to get all the information, you got to call Universal Windows Direct today. Schedule your totally free in-home estimate. 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. You can see everything for yourself on the web at universalwindowsdirect.com. Universalwindowsdirect.com, 317-659-7574. Tell them Rob sent you.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
Hi, I'm Charlie Comer from Comer & Cross Premium Garage Floor Coatings. If your garage floor looks bad with stains, cracks, and pits, it makes your entire garage look bad. And a bad epoxy job or chipping paint makes your garage or basement look worse. With one quick call to 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, I can save you $1,000 on a new Comer & Cross garage floor or basement floor during our winter sale. A Comer & Cross concrete floor coating is the gold standard. Guaranteed. A Comer & Cross garage floor won't chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. What's the Comer & Cross difference? We make it so easy. We move your stuff out for you. We fix the cracks and pits perfectly. And one day, you will love your gleaming, new Comer & Cross garage floor or basement floor just in time for spring. Call us right now for $1,000 in savings during our winter sale. Operators are standing by now at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to COMERcross.com.
Well, we spent some time talking about the Super Bowl. Let's talk about Puppy Bowl. Who would have thought that would be controversial? Team Fluff won Puppy Bowl with a close score of 68-66. Paws Allen, a Labrador Retriever mix from Buffalo, New York, scored the game-winning touchdown. Mercury won the Underdog Award, and Foxtrot took home the Most Valuable Puppy Award.
But Casey, everything is controversial when you're nuts.
Yeah, the Puppy Bowl's been going on for 21 years now.
Oh.
And J.D. Vance tweeted out about it, and he said, Puppy Bowl just showed a Chihuahua German Shepherd mix, and I've got questions.
Seems innocent enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there doesn't really seem to be anything controversial or mean-spirited or hate-filled or anything about that statement, does
Correct.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, our old pal, you remember her, Indiana Beto,
Yeah.
Destiny Wells?
Mhm.
Now, for those of you who may not recall, Destiny Wells, she is a two-time loser. Well, she's much more than a two-time loser, but at least when it comes to seeking public office, she is a two-time loser who has not once but twice gotten beaten into oblivion by arguably the two worst candidates to ever hold statewide office in the history of the state of Indiana, Diego Morales and Todd Rokita.
Yeah.
So she lost resoundingly to Diego in 2022 when she ran for Secretary of State. She said, hold my beer. Then I think she might have done it even worse running against Rokita this time, which that's really saying something. And now she's running to be Democrat party chair, right?
Right.
She wants to, because that's the most Democrat thing ever. I'm a two-time mega loser. Now put me in charge of everyone else. That's the most Democrat thing ever. But even I've kind of gathered that even Democrats are getting sick of her because she offers nothing other than she is a gigantic internet troll. And the fact that she's thoroughly embarrassed herself twice now running for public office, you'd think somebody would have some humility or, hey, boy, I'm not really good at this, or, man, I really need to try a new approach. Oh, no, not her. She just keeps doing the same bizarro stuff over and over and over again. And one of the really weird things about this woman is she is obsessed with abortion.
Yeah.
She is just, it is on the forefront of her thought all the time. That is her issue. On-demand abortion activism, abortions 24/7. And she either is incapable or unwilling to understand Indiana is a pro-life state. People do not agree with you. And even if they did agree with you, the jobs you have been applying for, they don't have anything to do with abortion.
Correct.
Other than, upholding the abortion law in this state, which as a pro-life state, you clearly are not going to do.
Right.
Which is why people have flushed you down the toilet not once but twice.
Which she would have had to have done as the Attorney General.
And look, for abortion, this is important because Destiny Wells is a great example. So we can learn from this lunatic that abortion is a religion to the Democrat Party.
Right.
It is their church. And not just like safe, legal, rare abortion. It's on-demand abortion activism, and anything that runs afoul of that, they will lash out at you. And so J.D. Vance makes this just totally innocent tweet. And the last I checked, J.D. Vance has never had any sort of interaction with Destiny Wells. They're not feuding on the internet that I'm aware of, doesn't even know her name or who she is. I mean, like the majority of voters, doesn't know her name or who she is.
Well, isn't this the point? That she wants him to know her
Well,
name?
and so this is, you have a woman who lives to be heard all attention is positive attention in her mind, even the most negative and ridiculous of attention. And her church, like many Democrats, is on-demand abortion activism. And so remind everybody what the tweet J.D. Vance put out, if you could do that for us, and then I'm going to read you her response.
Sure. J.D. Vance, your vice president, said, Puppy Bowl just showed a Chihuahua German Shepherd mix, and I've got questions.
Okay, so nothing about that, right? Like, I mean, nothing controversial, not anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's just
having fun about the Puppy Bowl.
He's having fun. It's like someone who's 6'5" dating someone who's 4'8".
Now I'm going to read you the response, and you tell me if the response is appropriate to the tweet. And I'm going to need a little mood music for this one.
Okay.
Are we ready? Kev. And so, when the Chihuahua... It's so stupid, I almost can't get it out. When the Chihuahua is impregnated by the GSD, and pregnancy could kill the Chihuahua, ... What's the Bible verse here? At J.D. Vance. That's a real tweet from a real human about some guy making an observation about a dog at the Puppy Bowl. Now I don't know if she was pre-gaming for the Super Bowl. I don't know if she was several cocktails in and was not of sound mind. I don't know if she made this tweet of sound mind and body. That is unbelievable, even by her standards. That is, what is wrong with this woman?
I've got a couple thoughts. One, she seems to not be able to get enough abortion of humans. Now she wants to move on to animals. Two, she desperately wants to be on the same level as J.D. Vance, which is why she's tagging him. Pay attention to me.
Right.
And three, how dare she assume the gender of the Chihuahua? Maybe it was the German Shepherd who delivered.
I mean, I don't know how you spent your Super Bowl yesterday, Jim, with the fam.
Yeah.
You and Jim.
Yeah, we were hanging out.
Sitting around,
watching the game.
Having a few margaritas.
Over 8.
Yeah. Having some pizza and, hot dogs, whatever. At any point, did you think, man,
abortion,
I'm going to need a hot take on abortion to really liven up this party. Like, this is going to really get everything started. I'm going to come in with a hot take, not just on abortion, but dog abortion.
Right. Well, isn't it the Democrats who get mad when you misgender them?
This is a person who wants
She's assuming the gender of that Chihuahua.
Lead the Democrat Party. What is wrong with this lady? Seek help.
Pay attention to me. I have to insert myself into this somehow.
Yikes. Yikes.
We've got some voicemails coming up. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He says he may add more. It's 29 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. President Trump is looking to add more tariffs on goods imported by the U.S. Fox's Jared Halpern.
The president expects to announce as soon as tomorrow or Tuesday what he describes as reciprocal tariffs imposed on countries across the board.
Where a country pays so much or charges us so much, and we do the same. So very reciprocal. because I think that's the only fair way to do it.
President Trump's economic plan includes imposing more tariffs than his most recent predecessors. He's already put 10% tariffs on goods imported from China. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
3 more Israeli hostages are recovering after being handed over to the Red Cross in central Gaza Saturday as part of the Israel-Hamas ceasefire agreement. In like manner, Israel completed its withdrawal from the Netzarim corridor, allowing Palestinians to move freely between the north and south of Gaza. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WYBC.com.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years and helps keep central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com. Recent talk about rising interest rates and economic uncertainty may have you wondering if now is the right time to sell your home. Will I get the price I need? Will it take too long? The good news, you don't have to figure this out by yourself. There's a friendly, no-pressure, experienced agent who eats and sleeps Indianapolis real estate, Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried you won't sell your home for the price you need. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed-upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Greg in Franklin had to say about working with Mark Dietl. My tenant moved out of my investment property, and I was ready to sell. I heard about Mark on the radio, and everything they say is true. In 15 days on the market, I had a cash offer I wanted on the property. Selling with Mark Dietl was fast, easy, and profitable. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, Dietel.com. Tell him Rob sent you. Are you thinking this year I want to look and feel better and get my hair back? We Grow Hair Indy can help you do just that. I'm Rob, and I got my hair back at We Grow Hair Indy. Here's Darren Andrews, clinic director, to tell you why I chose them.
For nearly 20 years, we've helped thousands of clients grow their hair back, and we can help you. We're one of only 2 places in the entire country to offer the Artist Robotic FUE and multi-unit hair grafting.
I got multi-unit hair grafting. I love the results and cannot believe how much hair I got back. I can't recommend them enough. Call right now, 317-522-2995 for a free evaluation. Great technology, great company, great people, great results. Go to WeGrowHairIndy.com, see my results, and call 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Don't you want to say, I got my hair back?
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails.
The phone number, if you'd like to call, is 317-684-8444, and it is time to turn the program over to you with your voicemails. With Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And, of course, first up, somebody wanted to call and talk about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I figured I'd just comment on last night's Super Bowl, which I did watch. I'm starting to wish I watched the Puppy Bowl. But I was rooting for the Eagles, and they did win. They won big, so I'm very happy about that. I think really the response that Taylor Swift got last night, that's what I wanted to mention, was pretty obvious. People are kind of getting sick of her, and I think that even goes as far, because I go on this rant a lot about how she got the 5-star treatment from Joe Hogsett, and yet all those criminals and the druggies that are usually out in the city and the streets downtown, that he kept them hidden somewhere, and yet that was only for her. And then when she was gone, he brought them back out. And really, what I think is going to happen now that Travis Kelce and the Chiefs have lost is I think she's now got an excuse to write a breakup song about him. I'm telling you, folks, it's coming.
You know, I thought about that when they first showed her, and she was wearing a white blazer and white boots. She had on jean shorts, but you couldn't see it at first. And I was wondering, is she wearing all white because she's expecting something spectacular if the Chiefs win after the game? It's going to be this major publicity event.
You know, Hiblin pointed out, our boss, Matt Hiblin, and this was perfect. The ultimate troll would have been after the Eagles won the game, he proposes to her on the field because there wouldn't have been a camera on the Eagles getting their trophies. It would have been, I mean, what a move, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think every person eventually runs through their tippy top of their fame. And a lot of times it is overexposure that ultimately does people in, and a non-positive sense of exposure that does people in. And look, she's always going to have this super rabid, core fan base, right? Yeah. That's not going to go away. But in terms of the mainstream Taylor Swift hysteria, I think we have seen the end of that. I mean, look, she was booed horribly. I mean, it was great. She was booed to an enjoyable extent. I was trying to figure out how to word that at the game. Mm-hmm. While Trump got a overwhelming round of applause. I just think, look, she's not going to be in a soup line anytime soon, and she'll continue to be able to sell out whatever city she goes to. Mm-hmm. But I just think the public has seen enough, and especially in areas she doesn't belong, like football.
Right.
They're like, leave us alone.
So many people think that was just a forced, made-up relationship to promote football, to get to reach a new audience.
Well, she's a dumpster fire. Think of all the men that she has been with, and she's always so public about it. It's not like she has some private, closed-door relationship with these people. It's out there. She's almost always dating a celebrity, not all the time, but almost always dating a celebrity of some sort. And when you're going to go, look at me, 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 and it just never stops, people are going to recoil against that, especially when you're doing it, when you're taking over areas that people are like, this is my area. I don't want to be exposed to you. I don't want to be around you. I don't care to see this. And you keep forcing people to see you.
So now will she maybe disappear for a while? Football season's over. She doesn't have a tour. She's has no new songs out. Are we going to get a break?
Well, Casey, this may shock you. I'm not a Taylor Swift expert, nor do I express any sort of desire to know anything about this woman whatsoever. I wish her the best in her future endeavors. Stay out of football.
It's like the email that goes out. We wish you the best. So a federal judge blocked the Trump administration from trying to reduce the workforce of USAID.
That's right.
And here's a phone call regarding that.
Good morning, Kendall Casey. Hope you're doing well. It really ticks me off that some federal judge in some state can stop the president from doing his job. He wants to cut these workers because either they're not wanting to work for the money they're getting, or we don't need them to work. That's saving us money. But then I just heard a comment from one of the news reports that the Democrats are worried that the government may not be able to pay these people if they take a severance package because we run out of money in March. That's wrong with the Democrats. They're just dumb because here you're trying to reduce jobs, reduce waste, and then on the flip side, they're saying, oh, we may run out of money in March, but they're fighting to pay these people. This is what's wrong with these Democrats. They don't even know where the money comes from. They don't even know how to spend the money right. So there you go, Democrats. This is our problem. We're going to run out of money in March, so we need to cut this budget down and stop the wasteful spending. But y'all want to protest and keep spending the mess. I don't understand this. No wonder you're not in charge anymore.
Hard to argue with any of that.
Really reminds me of they're acting like an ex-boyfriend who got caught cheating. No, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. And then you show them proof of pictures, and they say, well, you're invading my privacy for looking.
Yeah, and unfortunately, to her point, you can, and it is what it is. You can find a local, it's a federal judge, but you can find a judge, and they know who, don't kid yourself, they know who these judges are in the courtrooms they stick them in with these cases. They're picked strategically, and you'll find a judge that can, on a, district level, say whatever you want, and then you just got to go try to win it on appeal. And that's the system set up. The conservatives do it too. It's just the system and the way things are are set up, and you'll just have to win it through the court system. I think they will. I think the president has great discretion over who he can hire and fire, especially as part of the federal workforce. And so, but here's these Republicans could fix this legislatively. They have the power to do whatever they want to do. Anything that doesn't get done is because they don't want to do it. And we'll see if they're actually serious this time about getting spending under control.
Another phone call, this one also about the Super Bowl.
There's a couple takeaways on that. We had the 3 T's, of course. We had Trump, Travis, and Taylor. And the other thing was most of the commercials seem to be preachy. We have woke commercials now. There were a couple breakouts. I thought the Ram commercial was pretty good. And, of course, Doritos commercials and the inspirational commercials with the Lay's potato chip with the potatoes and, of course, the little pony that chased that keg all the way to the bar. But other than that, it was a rather uneven show. The halftime show, I wish somebody would explain that to me.
Remember, and it wasn't all that long ago, where the day after the Super Bowl, it would be the game was almost secondary, and everybody would be like,
talking about the commercial.
Did you see this one? Or, oh, what about that one? When was the last time we had a Super Bowl where that was the focal point where people were like, can you believe the so-and-so ad? When, like, what?
The last time that I remember it really being a huge...
In a positive manner, let me say that, because there have been some leftist ads the past several years that have drawn negative attention and recoiling from people. I'm sorry, let me just clarify that, where it's some universally beloved ad where you're like, oh, it was so great. Did you see this one or that one or whatever?
Well, I do remember there were some ads after 9/11 that were very moving.
So 25 years.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably
the Budweiser ads when they had the frogs. Those were always funny. That's been quite a long time.
But over the past 10 years, has there been any? I don't think that, and because I think the big part of it was there was almost always either there was some. I think it's two things. There was some super cool thing with new technology that they were able to pull something off that you're like, oh my gosh, that was incredible. Well, we're so intimately familiar with technology now because it is such a dominant force of our lives. I don't think technology impresses us to the point now where
did you see like the Martha Stewart commercial?
Right.
I think it was it Skechers she was promoting where she was doing the
Kev
dance.
Who said, oh, I think a bunch of these were AI.
Yeah, most of them look like they used AI.
So the point is we're so familiar with AI now that doesn't impress us the way it used to. I think that's one thing. And the other thing is I just don't think celebrities move the needle with people anymore. I just think people are they see them so much. Sort of this conversation we had about Taylor Swift. They see them so much, they get exhausted by them. And it used to be they lived under this veil of secrecy. You had no idea what your favorite movie star was like other than some interview he might give with Vanity Fair or Variety Magazine or Playboy, whatever. Or tonight, rare appearances on The Tonight Show or Entertainment Tonight. You saw in these little pockets.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom Cruise is going to be on so-and-so show. You can't miss that.
Right. But even in those situations, it's still scripted or they have a funny little story to tell. They're still playing a part.
Bingo.
It's not, this is what they're like at home when they're sitting on their couch.
You see it all now.
Yeah.
And their political views and the people they hang around with and their business dealings and all of these things. And so there's no lure where the unknown used to be the lure. There is none of that anymore. I just don't think people care. I don't think the commercials are as big a deal anymore.
He had mentioned the Doritos ad. I don't know if you realize this, that Doritos ad was fan made and that creator won $1 million.
You see it's $8 million for a 30-second commercial now?
Yeah.
$8 million? The original Super Bowl was like $40,000.
And that was even. It seemed a lot excessive. Yeah.
It ain't $8 million.
Okay, one more phone call, and this one is maybe a prop bet.
Hey, Rob and Casey. Actually, conundrum question that maybe will be answered at the Super Bowl this Sunday, but something that maybe to talk about on Monday, too. Who do you think's the most popular American in the country, Donald Trump or Taylor Swift? Blow it up, guys, and I believe there's a prop bet for it. Who's going to be on camera the most at the Super Bowl. So anyway, but blow that topic up, folks.
Yeah.
I'm Team Trump, not Team Taylor.
Well, I think we got the answer.
Yeah, it's Donald Trump. It's not even close. Donald Trump's the most famous. At various times throughout history, you can say this person is the most famous person on the planet. And it's not always the president of the United States, certainly. For years, it was Tiger Woods, where Tiger Woods could go to any corner of the globe, and people would know who Tiger Woods was.
For years, it was Queen Elizabeth.
Right, or I think Pope John Paul probably fit that bill for a while. I think Donald Trump is that now, where universally, anywhere he would go, you could put him in some deserted island in Africa, and people would go, "Oh, that's Donald Trump." I think he is the most famous person in the world. I think he's certainly the most famous person in the country, and I think people have seen how bad it got under liberals. I saw a tweet. I'll hold that thought. I saw a tweet from a very interesting source yesterday who pointed something out. Maybe we'll talk about that next hour, about why Trump is so popular right now and why he's doing so well.
All right, we've got Hammer who's going to join us. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Back at it on the Hammer and Nigel show today. Guy Relford will join us in studio for Monday Gun Day. We got Jeff Foxworthy tickets to give away. We're going to have a good time. 93 WIBC.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church. We love Life Church. They've had such an awesome impact on my life and my family's life, and they've got a great event coming up February 21st and 22nd. It's the Marriage Conference at their Noblesville campus. If you're looking to work on your marriage, put some excitement into your marriage, this would be a great opportunity for you. And you can head over to lifechurchin.com. You can find information on their 4 campuses, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, about their online services, or you can also learn about the Marriage Conference, lifechurchin.com.
Blood, sweat, tears. At Bill Estes, we know it takes hard work and years of doing the right thing to build a business people can depend on. That's why we don't make empty promises and expect your trust. Estes earns it. From Ford F-150s and Toyota Tacomas to Ram 1500s and Chevy Silverados, we have the trucks you'll love at prices you can believe in. But don't just take our word for it. Your trust means something. Estes earns it. BillEstes.com.
When you're running a small business, every dollar counts. And there's lots of ways you could try saving money, like, say, subletting half your office to an exotic pet shop, or downsizing your fleet of catering trucks to a fleet of catering scooters. Or you could try a smarter way to save. Switch to Comcast Business Mobile. It could save you up to 70% on business wireless compared to AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, and save you the hassle of having a parrot as your desk mate. So don't compromise your business to save money. Keep it growing with Comcast Business Mobile, an incredible value and smarter way to save. Comcast Business Mobile, powering smarter savings, powering possibilities.
Restrictions apply. Compares weighted average of providers based on optimized pricing. Comcast Business Internet required. Reduced speeds after data usage included with plan. Savings may vary.
AAA not only is the best at helping you out with flat tires, roadside assistance, replacing my dead batteries at work, but they can also plan some amazing vacations. And with all this snow and ice, I'm ready for a trip to Universal Studios with the family in Florida. You know what I mean? No matter where you're headed, AAA can help you get the best price on your next vacation at the AAA Travel Expo, Saturday, February 22nd at the Ritz-Charles in Carmel.
It's free. You don't even have to be a AAA member to attend. Although members love additional benefits like 24/7, 365 roadside assistance. So save the date right now for the AAA Travel Expo 2025, Saturday, February 22nd at the Ritz-Charles in Carmel. Find your dream vacation at Indiana's favorite travel show. Bring a friend and enjoy the day. Get more information and pre-register for your chance to win a $500 AAA travel voucher at AAA.com/expo.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Are you still thinking about what to get her this Valentine's Day? Make that special gift last forever and surprise her with a gift from Pierce Jewelers. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Hammer and Nigel.
The commander-in-chief doesn't have to watch Matlock with pudding smeared on his face. We've got a commander-in-chief that no longer falls up and down the stairs multiple times. I'm excited for that.
Hammer and Nigel. Afternoons on 93 WIBC.
He's walking in a big winner. Jason Hammer from the Hammer and Nigel show joins us. Good morning.
Good morning. And even though I did pick the Chiefs to win the game, the rest of my bets, the much larger payouts, came through for Daddy last night. We got that first touchdown. We got halftime. We got a 2-point conversion. We hit a little sucker bet parlay. Daddy was rolling. Daddy was cooking.
And Rob Kendall, winner of the big Hammer, ran his gums, and now he has to buy me a. Thanks for getting me back into betting. I would have really been sad if I had.
See, I'm a great influence. Why I don't have a gambling endorsement, I have no idea.
Yeah, one of these casinos. You know, you got what do you got? Anderson, Shelbyville, Terre Haute.
Which I've been to all of them. You know, I've been fired by some, and. There's no bigger champion for gambling in the city than I am.
I agree.
So, Kirsten Flint, if you're listening in Shelbyville in your big palatial office, you know, with gold-plated doors, let's partner. I've got the #1 show in the #1 station, the powerhouse. What are you doing?
And look at how the booze just sold.
We sold out of our bourbon in 2 days. We sold out of the much larger stocked tequila in 2 weeks. And I believe our bowling event is either sold out or close to sold out.
Okay.
I sent an email to our promotions staff this morning, haven't heard back yet, but as of Friday, there were only like a handful of tickets left.
Now, will I be getting some sort of special lane?
So I did purchase you a lane before it sold out. You will be on the Hammer and Nigel lane.
Yes!
Now, I'm hoping that the lane next to us is the Todd Rokita team.
Oh, boy, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Are we a team? Is that what we are? What are we?
Yeah, it's kind of a team, but, you know, we're not going to win any contest. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Some of these teams that are there to put up a big score.
Oh, they're like the holy bowler people.
Yes. We, speaking on behalf of Nigel and myself, and I believe you too, are there to consume alcohol and play grab ass with everybody that's there.
Yeah, I'm going to be like Steve Buscemi in The Wedding Singer.
Also Steve Buscemi in The Big Lebowski as well.
Donnie.
So, yeah, we'll let you guys know this afternoon about the tickets, but I believe they're sold out. I'm just waiting to hear back.
You made an interesting observation this morning I saw on the various social medias at Jason Allen Hammer on the Twitter box about your timeline.
Right.
And it's right. I think you're 100% spot on.
So we've talked in the past about how wild it is when people wake up in the morning. Like the very first thing they have to do is just complain and rip about Trump or Elon Musk. Like it's the first thing they do before they go pee. Like it's weird to me. Like we live in this bubble. There's no more active political talk folks than we are. But we post other stuff sometimes, right? Some people, it's just constant all day, just miserable bastards. So I noticed this morning at 6:45 a.m. that my timeline was 33% of the people, by that time in the morning, already ripping Trump or Elon. 33% saying that the halftime show sucked last night.
Yeah.
And then there was another 33%, and these were like super progressive woke white guys complaining that other white guys thought that halftime show sucked. Like the big white guy that wants to be accepted by the black community but really isn't, but thinks that he is. Like we used to have a guy that worked here in our newsroom, and he's one of these dudes, right? He thinks he is the voice of the black community in Indianapolis, and yet nobody ever likes any of his posts. And then there was 1%, right? So I've added it up. That's 99.
Okay.
1%. Want Weird Al Yankovic to do the halftime show.
And I'm sure you're in that group.
Yeah, you know me. I'm an Al lobbyist. I've been trying to get Weird Al in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for years.
Should be.
He checks every box in that category, from record sales to movies, pop culture, concerts, merch, you name it. Weird Al checks every box.
Absolutely. And I think he would be, because we talked about this earlier, about how the halftime show the last several years has alienated a huge portion of the audience. Everybody would watch Weird Al. Everybody would love Weird Al.
Be highly entertaining.
Right. And like what they used to do back in the day is they would have like other artists jump in with other artists.
Sure.
Like,
Cameo appearances.
You might not like Aerosmith. Maybe you think it's, grandpa rock. But then I think like Britney Spears or somebody came out with them. And then you had like a rapper or somebody. They were all together.
Right.
Now it's not like that anymore. And, if it's a hardcore rap show, old white dude's going to hate it. If it's a band that Rob likes, pretty much everybody else is going to hate it. But you know what? It is what it is. I've always said, I didn't pay for the halftime show. I've got the option to go get some more food, take a leak, do what I got to do. So,
But who wouldn't want to hear a extended version of Another One Rides the Bus at the Super Bowl halftime show?
Right.
Fat, eat it.
And he brings out like some of these major artists.
Absolutely.
Like, John Mayer starts playing the guitar with him.
Right.
And
That would be entertaining.
Amish Paradise.
Right.
Smells Like Nirvana.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, he could do a medley. It'd be great. He does in his concerts anyway.
But that's the breakdown. 1% Weird Al, 33% people complaining about Trump by 7 a.m., 33 thought the show sucked, and 33% are the woke white guys that want to be accepted by the black community.
What's coming up this afternoon?
We got Guy Relford in for Monday Gun Day. We're going to get an update on his Washington Post interview where he just depants the guy. And rumors of fun facts for kids.
Oh, with the great Terry Stacey.
Oh, tickets to Jeff Foxworthy, too.
Nice. All right, thanks, Hammer. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Let's talk about getting back to your best. Lack energy, muscle mass, feel moody, or have low libido? It could be signs of low testosterone. Know your T levels. Get tested. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer. The true experts are at Low T Center, and everyone's different. Don't settle for a standard dosage TRT program.
Get personalized treatment at Low T Center. For current patients, Low T Center offers a $150 referral credit when you refer a new patient. LowTCenter.com. Book that appointment today. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Planning to propose this Valentine's Day? Shane Company has your back. Our easy process to create your dream engagement ring is rock solid. 1, pick your ring setting. 2, choose your center stone. 3, personalize it. With our wide selection of beautiful settings and hand-picked diamonds and gemstones, all at competitive prices, your ring will be as unique as your love story. We'll hand-set your ring in our jeweler's workshop right here in our store and protect it with our free lifetime warranty. Walk in with a dream, walk out with the ring that will take their breath away. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Howard Bailey Financial is now in Carmel on Rangeline Road. For over 20 years, we've helped people navigate their retirement journeys, and now we're bringing our experience closer to home. Visit retirecarmel.com to schedule your appointment or text Carmel to 888-262-1104 to download a free retirement resource. Together, let's build the retirement you deserve. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
You said bye-bye to big government. Now it's time to trim the fat from big wireless. Pure Talk gives you the exact same service. They use the same cell towers, the same 5G network. You get better customer service, and you pay half the price for the exact same thing. Get unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data with mobile hotspot for just $35 a month. Make the switch. You simply dial pound 250. You say the keyword save now. Save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, John Herrick has the timeline for some winter weather, plus a possible solution on both ends for property taxes. And the Notre Dame women, they just keep on winning. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios. After Fox News Radio, you're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
They have until tonight. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Unless the deadline gets moved again for federal workers to accept the Trump buyout offer to resign and be paid through September 30th. The judge will hold a hearing today in Boston challenging that.
There is a definite degree of uncertainty for the roughly 65,000 federal employees who have reportedly already accepted the deferred resignation plan. Judge George O'Toole has not weighed in on the merits of the case, but did push back that deadline for workers to decide. He's going to hear from the government and a group of federal employee unions representing about 800,000 workers. Those unions argue that the Office of Personnel Management lacks the authority to make such an offer and questions whether the government is able to pay the buyout.
That's Fox's Alexandria Hoff. A third federal judge has blocked President Trump's order as unconstitutional, aiming to end birthright citizenship for any child born in the U.S., even to illegal immigrants. Now to Fox's Ryan Schmelz on something else the president's planning.
A 25% tariff on steel and aluminum imports is expected to be announced today, with other import duties coming later this week. President Trump calling them reciprocal tariffs that are directed at countries imposing charges on U.S. exports.
Now, Canada and the European Union could retaliate to the new steel and aluminum U.S. tariffs. As Democrats decry Elon Musk is out of control with his Department of Government Efficiency, President Trump says Musk's been terrific, going after waste and fraud in federal spending, telling Fox's Brett Baer.
I'm going to tell him very soon, like maybe in 24 hours, to go check the Department of Education. He's going to find the same thing.
The president also posted on Truth Social he's ordering the U.S. Mint to stop making pennies, saying it costs more than 2 cents to make one. There'll be a parade Friday in Philadelphia celebrating the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. These fans were happy in New Orleans.
I mean, I wanted the Chiefs to get embarrassed, but now that I've seen it, I feel a little bad for them now.
I thought it was going to be much closer.
Philadelphia built a 34-0 lead, ended up beating Kansas City 40-22. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How many rounds we'll get? It's 29 degrees and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02, brought to you by Moss Roofing. Wintry precipitation is supposed to fall across Indiana this week.
And it's supposed to come in 3 rounds. I'm John Herrick. Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis believes the first one starts Monday night into Tuesday. The second is Wednesday.
And the third one, now that would be Friday night through Saturday night. Now there's still a lot of uncertainty with this one.
But he believes a few portions of the state will get snow, ice, and freezing rain at some point this week. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Hoosiers need property tax relief while local governments need to maintain funds to provide basic services. A solution may be called the Trust Indiana program.
If they're able to raise revenue, make a better return, then that means they have less taxes that they need to put on to the citizens.
State Treasurer Daniel Elliott tells Indy Politics that it's a commercial paper portfolio that is offered by the state for local governments to invest money. It allows them to get a quick rate of return as well in significant amounts. A woman killed in a crash early this morning on the southeast side. IMPD says Alexandria Kurtz died when the SUV that she was in flipped over. They aren't sure yet what led to the crash. A bill that includes $19 billion for K-12 tuition support and removes income limits for the Choice Scholarship Program is being reviewed by the State House.
Accessing Choice Scholarship for the first time made me realize
every family should have access to the program.
That's Jason Borum, who lives in Brownsburg. He testified in front of the House Ways and Means Committee last week. The Notre Dame women have won 16 games in a row. They upended number 21 Cal 91-52 in South Bend Sunday.
They forced 21 turnovers and thought their defense was fantastic, held them below their average. And then offensively, I think we're growing.
Head coach Neil Ivey, a staple of their offense is Hannah Hidalgo, who had 24 points. They head to Pitt on Thursday. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
These cold winter nights mean more than just frosty windows. They can also spell trouble for your roof. Freezing temperatures, ice, and snow can lead to leaks that cause costly water damage if left unchecked. Moss Roofing is here to help. Tony Katz here, and Moss Roofing are the only ones to trust. A family business based right here in central Indiana. Whether it's a free inspection, patching a pesky leak, or a full roof replacement, their expert team has your winter roofing needs covered. Plus, they offer numerous financing options to make it easy on your wallet. Don't wait for that drip to turn into a disaster. Call Moss Roofing today for a roof done right every single time. Talk to Moss Roofing today. 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 317-747-3665. Moss Roofing, 747-3665, or find them online at Moss Roofing, MOSS, mossroofing.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Hey!
Look at you.
Hey!
Somebody's mentioning your name.
Spendin' Sue Finkham is catching on.
Apparently. So there's a new opinion piece in the Indy Star written by James Briggs, and title of the article, The Braun Beckwith Plan to Abolish Carmel. The Braun administration is turning the suburbs into poster children for wasteful spending.
Okay, so of course, and we like Briggs. He's been on this show before. We don't agree with him on very much, but he's a nice enough guy, and we get along with him fine. But and he's very left in most of his pieces. But so this article, he's basically going at Micah and Mike Braun because they have pointed out all of this grandiose excess in communities across central Indiana, but certainly Carmel is the poster child for this. And they're saying, wait a second, you can't say that you're going to cut police or fire when you have, or teachers or whatever, when you have all this stuff, right? You don't get to have a $58.5 million taxpayer-funded hotel or a $55 million swimming pool, or the reflexive pool, or the Palladium, or the fake people on the street, or pay your top fire guy $271,000 and then claim we're going to get rid of potentially rank and file public safety people. You don't get to do that.
Right.
We're done with that scare tactic. And of course, then old Spendin' Sue went to that hearing, the Senate Bill 1 hearing, and she did the fear-mongering doomsday scenario stuff. And then, because we had the audacity to point out all of these things that they're spending money on in Carmel that could be cut or sold or whatever, they're not going to fire any police. They're not going to fire any firemen. That's ludicrous. But let's pretend that her doomsday emergency sky is falling scenario were true. Things you could do to prevent that from happening. She got lippy with me on Twitter. I wasn't tagging her in things. I wasn't calling, I wasn't, other than pointing out the things she was doing in any way, trying to instigate anything with her. She got lippy with me on Twitter, so she got a nickname. That's the way it works around here.
Yeah.
We dubbed her Spendin' Sue Finkham, and I'll just read in regards to talking about Sue Finkham. Briggs said, since then, Finkham, a popular mayor who won 56.6% of the vote against a strong Democratic opponent in 2023, has been derided on the right as Spendin' Sue Finkham, as WIBC FM host Rob Kendall put it. We made the paper!
Well, yeah, James is a big listener, apparently.
Well, and that's, but okay. So apparently, by the way, some people need to know the rules of engagement with me, okay? Because if you got a problem with me, don't go on social media. You don't have to bitch to my coworkers. You waltz your ass into this studio and you sit down here for our tens of thousands of listeners and we'll have a discussion about it. Sue Finkham has become like unhinged since we had the audacity to talk about spending in Carmel. And instead of dealing it like an adult, if you disagree with something I say, or you think the $58.5 million taxpayer-funded hotel is great, come in here and say it. Thus far, we know she's whined to her subordinates. That got back to me. Again, Sue, if you're going to talk about me, it's going to get back to me. And now she's harassing one of our coworkers. Like, what's he supposed to do? He can waltz in here and go, Rob, you're really misguided about Carmel.
Tone it down. Yeah.
Say it to me.
Yeah.
You don't have to say it to other people. That's pathetic. You're a grown person. You're a mayor. And by the way, Carmel is the least sympathetic city in the entire state. You have a $235 million budget. No one is crying.
$23 million in reserves.
Nobody's crying any tears for you. Nobody's feeling bad for you. And the argument is, well, Carmel can do, if the Carmel people don't like it, then they can leave. Clearly they like it. That's fine. But you don't get to dictate what happens to me and whether I can save money because you want to have a $58.5 million taxpayer-funded hotel. You don't get to go to a Senate hearing and talk about how public safety could be in jeopardy and that I don't get tax relief because you want to have all this stuff. You're interfering with my wallet now, lady, and that's why I'm engaged. Because she's trying to dictate what happens for the rest of the state based on the excess and the excessive spending, the excessive stuff that she wants to have there. I'm not tolerating that.
Well, she did say it was hypotheticals and it was early on in the process, although we know it's not been early on in the process. And she was saying public safety, right? Fire and police. But now this article that James Briggs wrote, it's all about education, which apparently the district would call devastating if your property taxes were to be cut.
So something happened we talked about through this whole process. I was amazed at the lack of noise from the public education lunatics.
Well, here it comes.
Well, because we'd heard from all the cities and town and county people and their doomsday fear-mongering, but the Use Kids as Human Shield Society had been basically quiet, and I don't know why, but we talked about late last week. I said I was starting to get messages from the common sense teacher people, and they were hearing stuff, which meant they were getting it. And then over the weekend, I saw just like a monsoon of the public education. There was some WFYI ran some ridiculous article about all the things that were going to happen and this and that, and so now the Human Shield Society, Use Kids as Human Shield Society, is engaged in the process too. These people are all pathetic. They're all completely pathetic. And so I got a message from somebody who has been a teacher for a very long time. I like this person. They were actually one of my teachers at one point, and they teach in a school district that has a referendum. And so one of these people on one of the towny chatter boards posted something, and I got mouthy back with them. Because, again, I don't care what you do in your community, but when you're coming for my wallet, which is what you're doing by fighting this Braun bill, you're affecting my wallet and my family's pocketbook. Yeah, you're damn right I'm going to speak up about it.
Carmel doesn't get to dictate what happens in the entire state.
Yeah, if Carmel wants to have a $55 million pool and the people in Carmel, for who knows whatever reason, want to pay for that, that's fine. But you don't get to come to meetings and say children are going to suffer in the rest of the state if Braun's plan passes just because you can't keep building $55 million swimming pools. We're not letting that go. I don't care what you do until you mess with me. And that's what I told this person is I said, I don't care in your school district what you have. I don't live there. I think your referendum is unnecessary. I think I've proven multiple times in referendums that I've defeated where doomsday scenarios were presented and then the referendum failed and all the stuff got done anyway, that it's laziness from the administrative bodies, the people overseeing the stuff, and it's a mismanagement of money. I think I've proven that multiple times. But I don't care until people start talking about things by the way, the Braun proposal is way less than what people like me wanted. It's actually a very moderate, middle-of-the-road compromise, which only helps a very select group of people who live in homes that were eligible for homestead credits in 2021 and before. No new construction gets helped. No commercial gets helped. No rentals get helped. This is about as moderate a proposal as you can, targeted to help older people, fixed income people, young families. Now, it's going to help more than that, but that's the target. This is the best way they could think about doing it. And these people can't stand it. They can't stand that you're going to get any help. They can't stand the fact that one penny might not go into their coffers for whatever they want it to go into, and they're fighting against you. Spend and sue Finkum is fighting against you. The public education people who are opposing this are fighting against you. It's you versus them at this point.
They keep acting like the bill says that we're going to eliminate property taxes altogether. It's just a reset back to a few years. So are you saying that back in 21 that you couldn't have all these things either?
Well, this is the question I keep pointing out to people or asking people, and you won't get an answer on, which is, okay, first of all, in suburban central Indiana communities, who are the ones who are making the most noise right now, you have seen massive commercial growth the past 4 years. You're keeping all of that. Every penny you've gotten of commercial growth the past 4 years, which we're told by Holcomb how great it is, how Indiana is the business envy of the world, right? Everybody wants to move here and start a business. Okay, time to put up and shut up and see just how much business we've actually attracted that's paying property tax. Oh, wait, the dirty little secret is a bunch of it's done on abatements, which means a lot of these people are getting financial incentives and don't pay their full freight for 10 years. Oh, but Holcomb told us how great it was. So there should be more than enough revenue on all this commercial, all this new residential that Holcomb's told us. Oh, these house farms on every corner since 2021. How great those are. How much property tax are they paying? The reality is Braun is exposing how highly fraudulent the previous administration was. I'm not saying he's doing this intentionally. It's a side effect of the bill, and how full of crap Holcomb was on trying to put warehouses and high-density housing developments on as many corners as he possibly could.
Let's talk about some hypocrisy and waste, fraud, and abuse on the federal level. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, she said that she would recommend that Donald Trump get rid of FEMA the way it exists today. And then yesterday, there was word coming down that the Department of Education was no longer. And then, of course, you have all the criticism about what's going on with USAID. Officials are criticizing the Trump administration for gutting that agency as well. And, you know, taxpayers are getting fed up with this. Many people are saying, I don't want to pay my taxes this year. Give me every penny back of income tax that I have paid until we see where all of this money is going.
Somebody I saw on social media yesterday was doing the sky is falling thing about USAID, and you know, just the and then of course there's some things that are so indefensible. Many of these things are so indefensible. They'll now have to caveat it with, yeah, there are some things that need to be examined and reformed, but this is just ridiculous. No, it's not. The overwhelming majority of this stuff is gross. It's a blatant abuse of taxpayer money, and it's why we're $36 trillion in debt. Every dollar USAID sends out is a printed dollar. It's not a dollar that actually exists. We made it. We made it up. It's something that your grandkids, your grandkids' grandkids, your grandkids' grandkids' grandkids are going to be paying for. What sort of disgusting human being is like, yeah, screw that, because I want DEI in Serbia expanded. 6 generations from now from me should have to pay for that. You're a disgusting person if you think you should be running up other people's tabs, and a bunch of people are sick of the crap. They're sick of the price at the grocery store. They're sick of the rent. They're sick of all of it, and they're like, stop spending money on this stuff.
So here's Donald Trump, and he's talking about waste, fraud, and abuse.
Early Saturday, a judge agreed with them to restrict Elon Musk and his government efficiency team, DOGE, from accessing Treasury Department payment and data systems. They said there was a risk of irreparable harm. What do you make of that? And does that slow you down on what you want to do?
No, I disagree with it 100%. I think it's crazy. And we have to solve the efficiency problem. We have to solve the fraud, waste, abuse, all the things that have gone in the government. You take a look at the USAID, the kind of fraud in there,
and you
where
found
the money's
significant
going.
things.
Well, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars of money that's going to places where it shouldn't be going, where if I read a list, you'd say this is ridiculous, and you've read the same lists, and there are many that you haven't even seen. It's crazy. It's a big scam. Now, there's some good money, and we can do that through any one of a number. I think I'd rather give it to Marco Rubio over at the State Department. Let him take care of the few good ones. So I don't know if it's kickbacks or what's going on, but the people, look, I ran on this, and the people want me to find it. And I've had a great help with Elon Musk, who's been terrific.
Bottom line, you say you trust him.
Trust Elon? Oh, he's not gaining anything. In fact, I wonder how he can devote the time to it. He's so into it. But I told him do that. Then I'm going to tell him very soon, like maybe in 24 hours, to go check the Department of Education. He's going to find the same thing. Then I'm going to go to the military. Let's check the military. We're going to find billions, hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud and abuse. But I campaigned on this, Brett.
And that's what the people want.
When I first got elected, we, I mean, I was an equal opportunity offender, right? We went after everybody. And so one of the things that was going on in our town when I was elected is we had a completely worthless chamber of commerce. They did nothing. They existed to exist. It was so old guys could pretend to be powerful and go drink their coffee at a meeting once a month and go to a lunch. And for some reason, and I have no idea why, they were getting like $30,000 a year from the town. And I walked in there and I'm like, what are they getting this money for? They do nothing. They don't serve the business community. This guy, we pay this guy to have a job. He doesn't do anything. They have an office in the town hall. And I said, they got to be out of here. We should stop giving them this money, and they should not have an office in this town hall. They do nothing for the taxpayers. And people kept telling me, well, you're going to really make some people mad, and it's just $30,000, which in the scope of a $45 million budget or whatever we had at the time, right, that's not a lot of money. But my response to that was, somebody earned that money. It didn't fall out of a money tree. It wasn't planted in a backyard. That $30,000 came from somebody's home. It came from somebody's income. It wasn't just $30,000 to the conglomerate of people that it took to earn that money. For the 1,000 over here to that guy, it was a big deal. To the 1,000 over here to that woman, it was a big deal. And we got to start thinking of our government collectively that way. That every dollar we spend, well, it's just $1.5 million in the tune of a $3 trillion budget. That's not that much money. Somebody earned that money. That was somebody's earnings that was taken from them to pay for this thing.
And when you go to work every morning, aren't you getting just more and more angry? And you're not alone. Listen to this lady.
Sorry, I apologize for the way I look. I just worked all day. I run my own cleaning business. I am the sole cleaner. It is me. I do everything. I work my ass off to be able to provide for me and my husband. Our kids are grown, moved out. It's hard, you guys. It's hard to want to continue to do what we do. My husband has a business as well, and pay our taxes to a corrupt piece of government.
All right, before we go to break, I want to give a direct message to the mayor of Carmel, Spindon Sue Finkham. May I have just 1 minute?
Sure.
Sue, stop whining about me to your subordinates. Stop whining about me to my coworkers. If you have a problem, which you clearly do. Now, you're not mad about the governance. See, this is the thing. You're not mad about the governance. You're mad that I'm talking about your governance. You started this. I didn't start this. But if you have a problem, stop whining to everyone but me. Come in here and let's have this conversation for everybody to hear.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
The administration is taking shape.
I, Marco Rubio. I, Marco Rubio.
Y un gran honor y le doy las gracias al presidente Trump. I just said I saved a bunch of money by switching to Geico. That's what I said. So.
Hearings and votes continue.
You have said you're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine.
Confirmations are underway.
The vice president votes in the affirmative, and the nomination is confirmed.
Follow the first 100 days on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
800-948-1659. 800-948-1659. 800-948-1659. That's 800-948-1659.
Health gives you the ability to love more, feel more, be more. Health gives you the ability to live an extraordinary life. Because every day, no matter the challenges, is a chance to breathe, laugh until your belly aches, cry because you care so much, and experience everything that makes your life truly extraordinary. For 150 years, Franciscan Health has been there, watching extraordinary lives unfold. Love your extraordinary life.
You okay?
I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 765-545-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
Can we revisit a conversation that we had earlier today?
Yeah.
Was this hour one we had this conversation?
What's on your mind? Which one was that?
I want to come back to the Playboy being back on the magazine stands.
Oh, yeah. That was around 9:45. We talked about that.
So I didn't even know you were doing this story. I mean, I think it's kind of gross that you wanted to put that out on these very clean public airwaves. But you were emphatic that we talk about how Playboy was returning to the newsstand.
It surprised me just as it surprised you. And there's also another magazine that's going to start printing again, and that is the Sports Illustrated.
Okay. Well, let's stay focused on your little sick mind wanting to make sure everybody knew that Playboy was back on the newsstand. I was thinking, like, what magazine, what sort of entity would be carrying this?
Mm-hmm.
And I read the article, which I think Daily Mail did the article.
That, by the way, was on the template last night, but go ahead.
Well, like that's some sort of, like she looked at me when Casey goes, I'd like to talk about Playboy. And I looked at her and I go, what's going on with Playboy? And she's like, it's coming back. Like you act perplexed that I didn't look at the template.
I know.
Like, what? Yeah.
You're like, I read the article.
Now you're offended.
In the commercial break.
And I was like, well, who would be carrying Playboy? And it turns out it's Barnes & Noble.
It is.
I, first of all, didn't even know Barnes & Noble still existed.
They do?
I was amazed that Barnes & Noble is able to, because one of them went under. Didn't one of the major bookstore people go under?
Borders.
Borders. Thank you. Went under. But Kev, you were telling me that you still every so often will go to the Barnes & Noble in Greenwood.
Yeah, I'll kind of peruse the aisles there at the Barnes & Noble and just kind of check out the selection.
And I was amazed that the Barnes & Noble would carry, especially in the modern era, a Playboy magazine.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like a little
risque.
Well, for a publicly traded, I assume they're still publicly traded. I don't know. I mean, they're a national company, whatever, that they would have a magazine like that in there.
That kind of surprises me as well. I was just at the Barnes & Noble in Plainfield last week, as a matter of fact. I wasn't looking at the magazine section, but I'm surprised by that as well.
I'm surprised there's even enough magazines to have a magazine section.
Oh, sure.
Anymore.
Yeah, it's a good-sized section.
So then we got into a conversation about the sort of people you meet in the bookstore. And I was talking with Kev, because Kev is a single guy and a great catch if you're out there on the whatever spheres you're using for the social media. And I was saying that there was once upon a time you could see, if you were willing to quote unquote hang out in the bookstore, you could see pretty attractive women who would come into the bookstore, and you had a pretty good feeling about them because they were like in the bookstore. They were clearly studious of some
smart
degree or nature.
Well read.
But now, Kev, you were saying now, and then Kev and I got into an off conversation about how hard it would be actually to like score a date with somebody in the bookstore because you really got to go down the aisle they're in, and that's kind of creepy. And then you got to try to immediately come up with some conversation about the variety of book they're looking at. And then if that doesn't go swimmingly, then how do you pivot out of that? And we were talking about the conundrum of trying to pick up somebody in the bookstore. And that was a whole other conversation. But then you were pointing out today about how it's not the fountain of awesome it used to be when it came to being able to see highly attractive, studious women. You were saying, unfortunately, a lot of these women have taken a turn to the left.
Well, I don't know that for sure. I mean, I still see a lot of attractive women there.
But do you know the sort of books they're looking at? You see the sort of things they're perusing into.
Well,
it's not a Reagan biography these women are purchasing.
There is like a social justice section and
there
stuff. So, maybe they hover around that area
Steer clear
mostly.
of the self-improvement section.
But yeah, I just think it'd be a hard... it seems like the odds aren't really in your favor if you're trying to cold approach at a bookstore.
Because the point we were making, the cold approach, I like that. No, it's a cold call. That's basically what you're doing.
Yeah, it is.
And then, so we had made the point that if you meet somebody at a bar, there is a reasonable expectation that you are going to run into a variety of clownish type of men. And that is what you sign up for when you go to a place where people can approach you in a social setting. You don't sign up for that at a bookstore. So there's the tolerance level of someone basically invading the space.
Well,
at
there's
that
the
point.
expectation level. You go out to a bar or a club, you're there to meet other people and have a good time and engage. You go to a bookstore, maybe that's not your intent. Your intent is to find your book.
Yeah, it seems like people want to be left alone for the most part.
Right.
Because and how do you at a bar you approach somebody, you've got the whole basically buffet of topics you can choose from and you can play to your strength. If you're at the Barnes and Noble, pre-German, pre-1600 German history, eh?
Oh, is that the Communist Manifesto?
Right. I mean, how you are very limited, and so it would not work out as well. But I was just amazed the bookstore was even still a thing, and how it even stays
you would
open.
think, with Amazon as well. I'm sure they've taken quite a dent, though, in their bottom line. Their percentages are probably lower.
Anyway, I didn't mean to derail the segment. I wanted to come back to that today, and I knew we were running out of segments, and so anyway, what are we doing next? What's going on?
Well, we can talk about the Super Bowl ad for the Secret Service. You've also got a bunch of geographical stuff that has been in the news lately. Did you see that video that J.D. Pritzker sent out about how he wants to rename Lake Michigan now?
Yeah. Oh. Woo, boy, I'll have to flip a coin on one of those two.
Okay. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Tariffs and more tariffs. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. President Trump is looking to add even more tariffs on certain goods like steel and aluminum.
The president expected to announce reciprocal tariffs on all countries in addition to those steel and aluminum tariffs. Now, one reason why, let's look at autos, imports and exports. European Union puts a 10% tariff on every car going into that country. The U.S. places a 2.5% tariff on cars from Germany coming into the U.S. The president sees that happening just about across the board and wants to level the trade playing field with our friends.
Fox's Edward Lawrence. The Senate is set to vote this evening to potentially set up a final confirmation vote for Tulsi Gabbard's nomination for National Intelligence Director. That could lead to Gabbard's final confirmation vote taking place as early as tomorrow. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hi, I'm Charlie Comer from Comer & Cross Premium Garage Floor Coatings. If your garage floor looks bad with stains, cracks, and pits, it makes your entire garage look bad. And a bad epoxy job or chipping paint makes your garage or basement look worse. With one quick call to 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, I can save you $1,000 on a new Comer & Cross garage floor or basement floor during our winter sale. A Comer & Cross concrete floor coating is the gold standard. Guaranteed. A Comer & Cross garage floor won't chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. What's the Comer & Cross difference? We make it so easy. We move your stuff out for you. We fix the cracks and pits perfectly. And one day, you will love your gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor or basement floor just in time for spring. Call us right now for $1,000 in savings during our winter sale. Operators are standing by now at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to COMERcross.com.
You wake up feeling like you just boxed 12 rounds. Some wake up sweating with sore jaws, headaches, and a lot of our patients complain of brain fog. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and these signs, often joined with snoring, are sleep apnea symptoms. And if this sounds like you may have been in a struggle last night between you and this serious disorder. Many people aren't willing to fight back. But the fact is, you can't go through these nightly struggles without ramifications that each night chip away at your life's expiration date. I get it. You don't want to wear a CPAP mask. You may find out you don't need one. We have every effective sleep apnea solution available. And believe me, the mask is the last resort.
It's time to take action to stop your sleep struggle. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today?
Today.
We all have people in our lives we interact with. Maybe it's your favorite barista, a neighbor who waves to you every morning, a coworker you grab lunch with, or maybe it's me, the hairstylist you've gone to for years. What if you learned I had a substance use disorder? Would it change how you see me? It's okay to see the addiction, but when you choose to see the person, not just their disease, it can help change someone's life. Learn more at cbeyondtheaddiction.org.
AAA not only is the best at helping you out with flat tires, roadside assistance, replacing my dead batteries at work, but they can also plan some amazing vacations. And with all this snow and ice, I'm ready for a trip to Universal Studios with the family in Florida. You know what I mean? No matter where you're headed, AAA can help you get the best price on your next vacation at the AAA Travel Expo, Saturday, February 22nd at the Ritz-Charles in Carmel.
It's free. You don't even have to be a AAA member to attend. Although members love additional benefits like 24/7, 365 roadside assistance. So save the date right now for the AAA Travel Expo 2025, Saturday, February 22nd at the Ritz-Charles in Carmel. Find your dream vacation at Indiana's favorite travel show. Bring a friend and enjoy the day. Get more information and pre-register for your chance to win a $500 AAA travel voucher at AAA.com/expo.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
That's a killer idea, you got to admit.
It is a good idea. It would keep the conversation going. I don't know if I'd go for it, but as an opening line, yeah, I'd be interested. I'd be like, say more words. Tell me.
So people are now super interested because last segment we got into, it was last segment, right?
Yeah.
All these segments run together now. We got into, it's Kendall and Casey Show, by the way. I'm Rob. Kevin is our producer. Casey is the better part of the show. And Kev is a very good-looking guy. He's 29. He's single, and he's ready to mingle. And we had, throughout the thread of the show today, we talked about how hard it is. We've talked about this many times for young people to meet people because it's all online now, and the idea of meeting people in person is not a thing. And then we got in a conversation about Playboy being at the Barnes & Noble. This is our show. Playboy being at the Barnes & Noble. And then we got into a conversation about how I used to find there were very attractive women, although they would see, the problem is they would see through my bull crap. Like, it would be hard for me to meet somebody there because they were smart enough to see through.
If they hadn't had a cocktail already.
But you would find very attractive women who would go into the bookstore, and you knew they were together people because they were learned people wanting to learn. And so Kev and I were shooting a breeze, and I think we said on air, he says there's still attractive people that go into the bookstore. And we got into a thing about how you would meet somebody in the bookstore and off air. I said, well, I think I'd come up with the line to meet somebody at the bookstore, and he dismissed it out of hand.
Yeah.
You said it's actually pretty good.
I think it's good to get a conversation going.
Right.
I would not probably go for
You would go for the conversation.
The conversation.
The conversation is the thing.
Yeah. So tell everybody what your idea is.
You know what she looks like. You're standing in front of her. You don't need the picture.
Yeah.
So I said, if I saw somebody in the bookstore now that I wanted to meet, I would walk up to them, and if I were looking like Kevin, again, like if you look like Buddy Hackett, you're out,
It's
right?
not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. But you got to be a decent looking dude. I would walk up to a woman and say, "Look, I'm terribly sorry to bother you. I know this is such a weird request. I'm the producer for the midday show on WIBC. It's a #1 show in the city of Indianapolis, and my idiot coworker, Rob Kendall, who's the host of the show, he was adamant that there are not beautiful people that hang out in the bookstore. We did a whole segment on it, and it was just like, it was mortifying. It's the #1 show, and he's wasting all our time on something like that. And I told him, as the producer of the #1 talk show and #1 show in the city of Indianapolis, that it was ridiculous. There's all sorts of beautiful people. And I would just wondering if I could just take your picture so I could send it to this idiot so that I could show him there are incredibly beautiful people that still hang out in the bookstore.
Right. And so I think in reality, what's really going to happen is she's going to look at Kevin and go, wait, what station? And he's going to say WIBC. And she's going to go, oh, you work for those Nazis over there, don't you?
That's a good point.
And with her pink hair, turn on her heel and walk away.
Yeah, and the picture part, I don't think they'd be cool if someone just taking a picture of them like that.
I don't think so
But
either.
the picture is the conversation. You don't need the picture. You need the conversation.
Right. You're just using that as the way to get in.
I don't even think you need to mention taking a picture.
That's why she would have you're not offering her anything.
Do you notice how he was mentioned his name a few times and, what you do, accolades, #1 station.
But that's what you would do. So you're reinforcing. It's what is the thing in advertising? You got to hear something 7 times. With voting, they always say you got to get to somebody 7 times
right
before it
sinks
Rob Kendall.
No, I'm saying subliminally. You're putting it on me to make.
You're making yourself a winner.
You are making yourself the good guy. I'm making myself the bad guy so that you can be the good guy. They don't know me. They're never going to meet me. But what are they hearing? You're a producer. Cool. He's in media.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Good-looking dude in media. He's the nice guy. He's got some idiot coworker who he's trying to disprove. And what? He thinks I'm beautiful? Oh, my gosh. That's amazing.
Yeah.
If you can't start a conversation with that, I don't know what else I can do for you.
Yeah. Do you think the Barnes & Nobles would be easier than the Michaels or the Hobby Lobby, those stores? Because I knew a bunch of fellows who would troll in those stores where women shop.
That might even be.
Is it a bunch of grandmas that go to the Hobby
here.
Lobby?
I think it is going to be older women probably.
The bookstore is the younger women, Kev's age, that Kev's looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. The gym is out for you because, that's off limits.
Well, I heard there's some people that have gotten in trouble for approaching at the gym.
At the gym.
Wait. What do you mean approaching people? What are we talking about here? Like walking by somebody and going, hey, how's it go?
Trying to engage with someone while they're working out.
Well, I'm not talking about going up and grabbing somebody's rump. I mean, I'm saying
but I think I don't know. It seems like it's become socially unacceptable.
Wait, you're at the gymnasium and you're I don't know what you do at the gymnasium, whatever. You're working out and you see some woman and you're like, hey, how's it going? Like you could get in trouble for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right.
Because that's
what?
That's their safe space, Rob. They're there to work out.
Wait, you're kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you.
Huh. Better go to the bookstore then.
Just don't walk up.
This is what the mentor does.
Randomly ask.
This is what the mentor does, Casey.
For the
I'm willing to take the heat so that Kev can have a better social life.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Back at it on the Hammer and Nigel show today. Guy Relford will join us in studio for Monday Gun Day. We got Jeff Foxworthy tickets to give away. We're going to have a good time. 93 WIBC.
Whether you're preparing for retirement, navigating a life transition, or simply wondering if you're on the right path, Howard Bailey Financial is here to help. Together, we'll work on a personalized plan designed to bring greater clarity to your goals and help you approach decisions with confidence. It's not just about numbers, it's about the life you want to lead and the legacy you want to leave behind. With over 20 years of experience, Howard Bailey Financial has been dedicated to guiding individuals as they work toward taking control of their financial future and finding peace of mind. Text PATH to 888-262-1104 to download a free retirement toolkit and start planning for the retirement you've dreamed of. Howard Bailey Financial, helping you turn hope into a plan and dreams into reality. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Well-changing question. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? High taxes can erode returns quickly, so you need a tax-optimized portfolio. At Creative Planning, our money managers and specialists work together to make sure your portfolio and wealth are managed in a tax-efficient manner. It's what you keep that really matters. Why not give your wealth a second look? Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Hi, I'm Scott Wilson, third generation owner of Wilson Farm Market, just 15 minutes north of 465 on 31. If you are looking for your source of homegrown, locally made, know where your food's coming from, we are your spot. We have hand-dipped ice cream, 130 different kinds of cheese. We fry chicken, just a little bit of everything, a foodie's heaven. Wilson Farm Market, where good taste runs in the family. Just 15 minutes north of 465, right on US 31.
I had changed the locks, didn't even know where she was living. And then one night she calls to say she's getting treatment. Can I drive? I almost hung up. But then I thought, that's my kid. I chose to put away the hurt and the fear and just see my girl.
Addiction is a disease. Standing by a loved one as they fight it will test your faith, patience, and sanity. But it's possible when you see the person, not just their disease. Learn more at cbeyondtheaddiction.org.
Blood, sweat, tears. At Bill Estes, we know it takes hard work and years of doing the right thing to build a business people can depend on. That's why we don't make empty promises and expect your trust. Estes earns it. From Ford F-150s and Toyota Tacomas to Ram 1500s and Chevy Silverados, we have the trucks you'll love at prices you can believe in. But don't just take our word for it. Your trust means something. Estes earns it. BillEstes.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Would you like fries with that? Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Casey, late last week, a very interesting figure in the history of this city passed away, and I was hoping we could talk about it for a few minutes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's because I had many run-ins with this person over the years, some of them good, some of them bad, and whether you liked this person or didn't, everybody had a strong opinion about her one way or another.
Yeah.
She was a very, I don't know if infamous is the right word, but
Yeah.
she was a very well-known figure in the history of the city. Ended up playing a pretty important role in the history of the city. And by the way, it's Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Melissa Donahue, or also known as Melissa Hubbard, passed away late now. I don't know how. I think she may have passed away over a week ago, but it was recently announced that she had passed away.
She was found, passed away on Friday.
Yeah, and she had been apparently missing for a little while, and then people kind of went to check on her and found out that she had passed away. And she was probably best known as and this was in the early 2000s in the city of Indianapolis. She was the dominatrix who Bart Peterson targeted, and it was out of that target that she ended up being one of the leaders of the property tax revolt that ultimately resulted in the tax caps being implemented in 2008. How about that for a weave, right? How about that?
So she was the owner-operator of the Dungeon Arts Reformatory.
Yeah, so she had I think it was an in-home dominatrix business. She wasn't a sex worker. They weren't performing sexual acts. I'm not familiar with how that industry exactly works, but basically she wasn't harming anyone. Her clientele, or whatever you want to call it, wasn't harming anyone, but the mayor, Peterson, at the time, decided that he was going to target her for whatever reason, and they basically made her life a living hell.
Well, apparently police investigated her business. They looked into the operation and didn't find anything untoward, right?
So out of that, she got very motivated to, obviously, they, tried to ruin her
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
financial existence. And out of that, I think they ultimately ended up shutting the business down. And then out of that, she really became motivated to kind of clean up City Hall. And now, look, the thing about Melissa was that she was not afraid to spin a tall tale or two. So you never knew exactly how much of it was real, but there's no doubt that she helped play a role in motivating people not only to get involved with the property tax, to fight the property tax hike, but also help Bart Peterson get elected to be mayor of Indianapolis in 2007.
Okay, so you said that she helped people get motivated or get involved, or she was motivated and involved. How involved was she when it comes to the property tax caps?
Well, look, so full disclosure, I was a college kid at the time.
Okay.
So I was always a voter, but I was not nearly as involved then as I am now. And that's where it comes back to her version. Hey, I was the leader of the Tea Party movement in Indianapolis. And like any great entertainer, which she was, she would tell you, oh, it was all me. And then you talk to other people and they say, well, she was there, and there's no doubt there's videos of her speaking at rallies, and you talk to people. She was a big motivator. Meridian Kessler, the area where she lived, saw the biggest property tax increases, and it's like any other sort of infamous figure. The tale itself, you don't even kind of want to know the truth. The tale itself is every bit as fun as whatever the truth might have been.
Right, maybe even better than the actual truth. So whether she started the Tea Party or was just there at the beginning, we're not sure.
Well, and I think the legacy of Melissa Hubbard, and full disclosure, Melissa and I were I would say friends for many years. She was very passionate about a couple of people that she supported for various public offices, and she was the sort of person who, if you ran afoul of her in any shape, form, or fashion, you were out.
Yeah.
And I don't think I don't think she would mind me telling the story. In fact, I think she would like it. And so I went many, many years where I did not talk to her, have any contact with her. And then last year, of all things, this is wild how the Lord works. She was a delegate to the Republican State Convention from Marion County.
Okay.
And she randomly showed up at an event for Micah Beckwith. I was there with my wife. She came up. She was very nice. She essentially, in Melissa's way of doing things, apologized and said, I'd like to start our relationship over and hope we could be friends again. And she talked about how she really admired Micah's commitment to his faith, and she was supporting him at convention. And I talked to her several times since then over the past, half a year or whatever it's been. And it was very nice and very cordial. So, God has a way of making things work.
Yeah. Is there a reason why you had a falling out, or was it just a parting of ways?
Well,
or was it just
you
were going down different paths in your life?
She was very passionate about some political candidates that she was supporting. One of them, the big one, was Todd Rokita when he ran for U.S. Senate in 2018, and she was not happy with the way I had responded to Rokita's behavior.
Okay.
And so I told her what I thought of her right back to her. And, I'm the wrong person to try that with, right? So, but the point is, she was whether you liked her or not, and look, everybody had very strong opinions about Melissa. She was an important figure in the history of the city, not only because of her leadership, whatever level of involvement it might have been in the Tea Party movement and the property tax fight, but she was a person who was targeted by the government.
Yeah.
And instead of just putting her head in the sand
and taking it,
right, she then used that energy to motivate other people, and ultimately was a player in creating good for millions of people with the property tax caps, which until about 2020 largely served to protect in many cases, Hoosier homeowners.
Yeah, it was just time for a reset. Her memoir, which she put out in 2014, was called Spanking City Hall, Dominatrix to Political Activist. But I think that's just proof, like, if somebody is not breaking the law, which they tried to determine if she was and found that she was not, but they still tried to take her down, she turned that energy around.
And this city, and I think longtime people will tell you this city used to have a lot of really eclectic people in it when it came especially to like politics and government. And it was part of, and you know, yes, Matt Himlin about this because he's such a Indianapolis lifer. You know,
right.
he knows this probably better than anybody here and has worked here for so long. That used to be the radio station, WIBC, the host didn't used to be, you know, the pepper in the soup like we are now. It used to be the people that kind of surrounded the radio station, and there were all these super interesting people that whether you liked them or you didn't like them, they were entertaining. Like when they were somewhere, we got to see what's happening next. And because of so many people have fled the city, and I think we've sort of dumbed down what we're expect from our politics or what we are willing to deal with our politics or the societal norms with our politics. There's not as many of these people left anymore. I don't think our society is nearly as good for it.
Yeah.
And I've thought this for a long time. We need more people like Melissa Hubbard involved in the process. And they just really don't exist anymore.
You shake things up, stir it up. So you're saying that the hosts on WIBC used to just be the facilitators, where everyone else was the spice, but now everybody else is not as involved, perhaps, or not as motivated.
Well, think about on this program, and we don't do a lot of guests because we're interesting enough, but how many people do we have on even these politicians or whatever where you walk away and they may say things that are pertinent and of importance to our audience, but how many times do you walk away going, wow, yeah, that person was really interesting. I can't wait to have them back on again. And they don't exist anymore. So I didn't want to mention that. She's 62 years old, a very, very, very interesting figure in the history of Indiana politics and government. So rest in peace, Melissa.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for listening today. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Are you thinking this year I want to look and feel better and get my hair back? We Grow Hair Indy can help you do just that. I'm Rob, and I got my hair back at We Grow Hair Indy. Here's Darren Andrews, clinic director, to tell you why I chose them.
For nearly 20 years, we've helped thousands of clients grow their hair back, and we can help you. We're one of only 2 places in the entire country to offer the Artist Robotic FUE and multi-unit hair grafting.
I got multi-unit hair grafting. I love the results and cannot believe how much hair I got back. I can't recommend them enough. Call right now, 317-522-2995 for a free evaluation. Great technology, great company, great people, great results. Go to WeGrowHairIndy.com, see my results, and call 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Don't you want to say, I got my hair back?
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Man, I'm in a slump. My energy took a nosedive out of nowhere, and I just don't have the motivation to get things done.
You're over 40. Could be lower testosterone. Have you tried Nugenix Total T?
Nugenix, the testosterone booster on TV?
That's right. Look, I felt the same plunge in my energy after I turned 40, so I tried out Nugenix to see if it would help me.
Did Nugenix make a difference for you?
Night and day. My stamina's way up now. I'm building lean muscle at the gym. I'm totally back on my game. And you could be too. Just send a text to Nugenix. They'll send you a complimentary bottle so you can try it for yourself.
Text LEAP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text LEAP to 321-321. That's LEAP to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Yeah, pretty much the only place my wife and I have done any furniture shopping over the past few years is Thompson Furniture and Mattress down in Columbus. And right now, they have an incredible Indiana-made Smith Brothers of Bern factory authorized sale going on. 50% off. These are the best quality sofa sectionals recliners in the business. Made in Bern, Indiana with a lifetime warranty. And this sale ends Monday, March 3rd. And don't forget about free delivery from Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Morton Building's annual Building Value Day sales event is here and now through the month of February. Morton buildings are built stronger, last longer, and look better. Whether you need a garage, farm shop, stall barn, or storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, now's the time to save on new buildings. Visit MortonBuildings.com to learn more and save on select new buildings that will stand the test of time. From Morton Buildings. Certain restrictions apply. See your local construction center for details.
You said bye-bye to big government. Now it's time to trim the fat from Big Wireless. Pure Talk gives you the exact same service. They use the same cell towers, the same 5G network. You get better customer service, and you pay half the price for the exact same thing. Get unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data with mobile hotspot for just $35 a month. Make the switch. You simply dial pound 250. You say the keyword save now. Save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
Reach your fitness goals in 2025 with a 20-minute once-a-week program at Exercise Inc. 5 locations now in Fishers. Visit exerciseinc.com.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up, totals upwards of 3+ inches.
So when you can start aggregating that data,
because some countries are negotiating already.
Local governments fear they won't be able to afford basic services.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
When the snow and where the snow could arrive. Right now, you've got a mostly sunny sky on Monument Circle. It's 32 degrees. Today's high 37. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. Some places in northern Indiana are spots where snow could be the heaviest this week.
Areas like Lafayette, Kokomo could see, totals upwards of 3+ inches, whereas down in the Indianapolis area, we're looking at lesser totals.
Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says the precipitation this week comes in 3 rounds and could bring about some freezing rain as well. Data collected from cars can help make roads safer, especially in the winter.
So when you can start aggregating that data anonymized over, say, a week or a month, it gives us a very good picture of how a traffic signal is operating, how a freeway is operating.
Professor Darcy Bullock is the director of the Joint Transportation Research Program at Purdue University. He says that's very valuable to public agencies because data from the cars is easier to collect than manually going out and making observations. The woman who died in a crash on the southeast side of Indianapolis this morning has been identified as Alexandria Kurtz. She was 30 years old. Her SUV had flipped over at around 1 o'clock this morning, and police are trying to figure out how that happened. There's a calming of nerves in the oil market, says oil and gas analyst Trilby Lundberg with the Lundberg Survey.
Because some countries are negotiating already to have those tariffs reduced, and even Russia and Iran are making some noise, sounding interested in having a dialogue with Washington.
The national average is up slightly to $3.21. AAA says the average for Indiana is $2.93. That's the same amount it was last week. Indiana's treasurer may have a solution to solving the problem of property taxes at both ends of the spectrum. Kurt Darling explains.
On one end, local governments fear they won't be able to afford basic services.
The next budget year, 2026, it'll cost us between $2.8 million and $3.5 million.
Zionsville Mayor John Stair on Wish TV. The other end are Hoosiers struggling to pay their property taxes. State Treasurer Daniel Elliott tells Indy Politics that a solution may be the program Trust Indiana, a commercial paper portfolio offered by the state for municipalities to invest money and compound it quickly.
If they're able to raise revenue, make a better return, then that means they have less taxes that they need to put on to the citizens.
And he says this may be a way to get property tax relief without having to make deep cuts within local governments. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Nick Sirianni was the Indianapolis Colts offensive coordinator from 2018 to 2020.
Now he's the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles and a Super Bowl champion after his Eagles knocked off the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 59 Sunday night, 40-22.
And it takes selflessness to be able to Jalen said it awesome one time, just because we're not winning a certain way, it's crazy. Sometimes we're answering questions on how we win.
His quarterback, Jalen Hurts, was named the Super Bowl MVP. A shooting, a crash, and a celebration. Those stories and more next on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the Super Bowl, the halftime show, and no more pennies. And that's just a start. After the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Well, Tony, President Trump wants a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum imports, with other import duties coming later this week. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
President Trump calling them reciprocal tariffs that are directed at countries imposing charges on U.S. exports.
Typically, as we know, President Trump has a rationale and a reason for doing what he's doing.
Iowa Republican Congresswoman Marionette Miller-Meeks on Fox says she's still looking at the tariffs to see how they'll impact manufacturing in her district. President Trump had proposed tariffs on Mexico and Canada before reaching an agreement on border security with both countries, delaying the tariffs for 30 days. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
A woman injured in a shooting this morning in Lawrence, with police responding to the incident at around 2:05. The woman was found with a gunshot wound and taken to IU Health Methodist Hospital in stable condition. Police said this was an isolated incident, but they're investigating. 2 cars crashed in Hendricks County, and a woman has died. Jake McDaniel reports.
Deputies arrived at the scene Saturday afternoon around 4 o'clock, and they say 2 people in a car were going US 40 eastbound, and 4 people in another car were traveling on US 40 westbound. Officers say the car traveling westbound did not yield, and they crashed into the car of 2 people. A female passenger was taken to a hospital, but she died on the way. The driver of that car traveling westbound, Tiffany Poole, was taken to a hospital to get blood drawn. She was then taken to Hendricks County Jail, and she was charged with driving while under the influence. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Not only was the Super Bowl on Sunday, so was the Puppy Bowl. A Minnesota rescue dog took home top honors. Foxtrot, a collie from Pet Haven of Minnesota, was named Most Valuable Puppy after a standout performance in the annual Animal Planet event. His efforts helped Team Fluff beat Team Rough by the score of 68-66. And it was announced this morning that the band The Doobie Brothers will be performing at Ruoff Music Center in Noblesville on Saturday, September 13th. This is all part of the Coors Light concert series. The Doobie Brothers have sold more than 40 million records worldwide. Taking a look at traffic right now, no issues on the roads, just some construction. If you see anything, be sure to let us know on X at WIBC Traffic. And also, mostly sunny and 32 degrees on Monument Circle, a high of 37 today, and it's going to be cool again tomorrow. I'm Sean Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. 12:06, Tony Katz today.
Live from the heartland and the crossroads of America, it's Tony Katz Today.
Trump is popular. Trump is very, very, very popular. Far more popular than people can handle, it would seem. The kind of popular that makes people say, what in the world is going on here? Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Find everything going on over there at TonyKatz.com. This is CNN trying to explain it to the folk, and it's adorable. It's adorable in the way the questions are asked, in the way the questions are answered. It's just absolutely positively precious.
Showing that Americans seem to be liking what they're seeing, but it's a mixed bag.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Hold on. Oh, CNN. Wait, hold on. 77 million people wanted this? Really? This right here? With all the work on illegal immigration and all the work about cutting the bloat and lowering the size of government and following through our promises, they like this? She starts with an incredulous. It starts with a, wait, that can't be right, can it? Oh, it's very right.
It's not just CBS. I like to take an average of the polls. And holy smokes, I mean, look at what the difference is between now versus 8 years ago during the first Trump term, right? This is Trump's net approval rating on February 10th. Side of the ledger at +4 points. And again, it's not just the CBS News poll. We're talking about the Gallup poll. We're talking about the Ipsos poll. We are talking now than they did 8 years ago. The bottom line is Americans are far more likely to say they like what they're seeing now versus what they felt during Trump's first term.
They like what they're seeing. What's the difference? What is the real difference here between what it is that's happening now versus what happened between, or I should say during Trump's first term? What if the answer is actually a very, very easy one, which is America better understands the level of problem. They better understand how it is that they have been lied to. They better understand the very concept of bloat. They better understand that government is not efficient. As a matter of fact, it's outrageously inefficient. And following up on that, it's killing us. It's destroying us economically. It's destroying the future for our kids. It's destroying the future for us. We shouldn't live like this. This is a dumb way to live. What if that's the case? Don't worry, CNN has got more questions to prove that Trump's popularity isn't really there.
Okay, so how rare is this? Are you going to show us sort of where we're at now and how rare it is that this number
I want you to take a look at this plus sign, right? Compare that to the negative sign. Being on the plus side of the ledger, right? In positive net approval territory, a positive net approval rating for Donald Trump. Again, whoa. Entire first term, just 11 days, Donald Trump had a net positive approval rating. Compare that to the second term, just so far. Every single day of Trump's second term so far, he has been on the positive side of the ledger. 21 days, all 3 weeks. That's already 10 more days than he was in his entire first term.
Take a moment to breathe that in. How is that possible? You're telling me that in Trump's 4 years, from 2017 to 2021, he was only positive 11 days? Oh, I'll absolutely believe that. As a matter of fact, I know a guy on the radio who used to talk about it, and people yelled at him and said, you're just being a Trump hater, and you're not giving him a fair shake, and you're just a never Trumper. And I said to those people, shut up. What I said was that the numbers show that Trump's popularity peaks at 48%. He has a ceiling of support. I said this throughout the primaries. I said it throughout the general election. He has a ceiling of support. I also stated it's a floor because the people who are absolutely in love with Donald John Trump, they're not changing for nothing. They're all in. all in, completely in. That's what makes these numbers so absolutely, positively incredible. Trump's overall job rating from the CBS YouGov poll, 53% approve. Guys, huge. We're not going to debate that. We're not going to debate that 53% is maybe a small number. It's just over 50%. It's not really something that you crow about 60%. Then you can get into it. If you take a look at the historical and you see Trump's numbers in the first term and you see Trump's numbers even in this election, whether it was Biden or Kamala Harris, the level of support didn't change. It didn't rise above 50%. That did happen in a couple of polls, but when you take a look at the amalgam, it was 48% time and time and time again. We had it down. We understood the ceiling and we understood the floor. And there wasn't much room in there. Trump was at this spot. It was Kamala Harris who had room to rise and room to fall. And oh, did she fall. She went to a Lakers game. Did you hear about this? She went to a Lakers game, and she's sitting in the nosebleeds with her husband. No one cared that she was there. Admittedly, the woman sitting next to her was recording videos like, oh my gosh, it's a former vice president, which you might be too, right? But no one cared. Kamala Harris walks in to watch the Lakers play, and Lakers fans are like, let's see more Bronny on the floor. That's a deep cut. That is good. You know what? I'm proud of myself right there. It was sports and cultural. Very impressed. Kamala Harris had a long way she had a chance to go up. She had a chance to go down. She had this room. Trump had this. It was constant. So 53% is massive. It is huge. And why is it that we're seeing that in the 21 days of his second term, we're seeing such unbelievable numbers? Well, maybe it has to do with how he's described. Tough, 69%. Energetic, 63%. Focused, 60%. Effective, 58%. Well, if the 53% support didn't do it for you, these numbers do. These numbers are huge. They're massive. Oh, and energetic. You mean compared to quite